Before we start our program, let us first begin with an invocation to be led by TCP trustee Mr. Victor G. Martinez, to be followed by the Philippine National Anthem.
Let us bow our heads and acknowledge the presence of the Lord. We reaffirm our conviction that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to human life. We give thanks to the Lord for the gift of life. We thank you for protecting us from the pandemic and giving us good health to be able to do our work and help provide income to our industry that has been paused by the pandemic. We thank you, Lord, for the food you put on our tables despite the trying times. We ask, dear Lord, that you bless us, the tourism industry, with wisdom and discernment, together with the DOT regional directors, so that we can set the direction of the revival of the tourism industry. Finally, dear Lord, please bless us and guide us in our undertaking today and in the future regional consultations, so we can be guided, we can set the revival of this industry. We ask this through Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord. Amen.
Kayang mag-ibig, telas ng sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagtatagputok sa simoy at sa langit mong bagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitingin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pamay di magtitingin. Luma ng araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya na pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon and welcome to the virtual Luzon Regional Consultative Meeting of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. Luzon Tourism is back and ready. Let us welcome the host and moderator for this afternoon's meeting, the Public Relations Officer of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, Mr. Bob Zozobrado.
Can you hear me well? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tourism Congress of the Philippines consultative meeting with our Luzon stakeholders. You know, all of us in the tourism industry, we all have our sad stories to tell. Sad stories about our careers, about our businesses, or whatever have you. But all of us in the tourism industry are also valiant soldiers. Soldiers who refuse to be defeated, who refuse to be cowed down by any type of disaster or catastrophe or pandemic. And that's the reason why all of us are here today, because we want to put our heads together and be able to bounce back. We want to bounce back strong. So get involved with today's event. Ask your question, listen closely to everyone, and ask your questions. If you have questions, write it down in the chat box. Don't forget to put in your designation and your affiliation. And then we will tackle that towards the end of the event in the Q&A section. So we have to get involved and we have to put our heads together, because we want to be able to go back to how we were before the pandemic set in, before the pandemic left our industry literally gasping for breath. And we have to make sure that we get back the same business environment as how we had before, because we know that we deserve something much, much better than what we have today, especially because we believe that we are the stuff that dreams are made of. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy today's event. But before I proceed, let me thank our sponsor, Philippines Air Asia, for making this event possible, and our partnership with the Department of Tourism. I also want to thank all our press friends from the Philippine Star, the Manila Standard, the Business Mirror, the the Manila Times. We have also from the Daily Tribune, from Travel Update and Travel Trade Gazette Asia, and a travel blog. So we want to thank them also for participating. So here we go. First part of the program, let me introduce to you the president of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, Mr. Jose Clemente III. Joe, the virtual stage is yours.
Hi, thank you very much, Bob, for that introduction and for the opening words. First of all, I'd like to greet our friends here, Mr. Ricky Isla, CEO of Philippines Air Asia, Ms. June Aleni Kakam, the marketing head of Philippines Air Asia, our beloved regional directors from the Luzon area, uh, our friends from media, fellow members, and observers who are here to join us this afternoon. Good afternoon, and I hope everyone is in good health and in good spirits under the situation. So, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon for this consultative meeting. And we hope to be able to provide you some updates with regard to our partners such as AirAsia, the Department of Tourism from the various regions, as well as some events or some updates that we can give you later on with regard to our meetings with various government agencies and the concerns that we have as we go forward in our bid to restore tourism to the Philippines. So, as Bob mentioned earlier, as we go to the presentation, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them down or to put them in our chat box. We will have an open forum at the end of the towards the end of the meeting. Feel free to ask anything. Um, okay. Without further ado, let me just go into our updates for the first quarter of 2021. Currently for Luzon, we have a total of 105 members. In 2020, we have 8 new members for this year, and we are still also waiting for the renewal of our other members. We have 43 members from Visayas, 21 from Mindanao, and for a total of 180 members so far, with more joining in the next few weeks. Currently, we have around 80 renewed members. So we would like to encourage our other members also to start renewing your membership for this year. Okay, next slide, please. As part of our membership campaign, we came up with the visuals I think that most of you saw on our Facebook page. The membership campaign, 10 Reasons to Join the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, which was conceptualized by our PRO, Mr. Bob Sobrado. And these are the various reasons why you should join. Just shortly is for support for the needs of your company and the industry, networking with other members. This is a community where we can all help one another. Visibility, that we be seen by not only our partners but our consumers. Credibility, access. We have a voice in the industry, in the government as they formulate tourism policy, um, participation, growth, and learning. So, part of our advocacy for this year is to come up with some more learning sessions similar to the ones that we had last year. So, watch out for those. We will have some announcements shortly. Next slide, please. And these are the testimonial ads that we had for from our Visayas region, Miss Marjet Villarica, the owner of Destination Specialists, and for Mindanao, Mr. Harry Morris, who is incidentally also our Vice President for Mindanao from Iho Resorts. So hopefully we can get more regional members. But since this is the Luzon Consultative, we'd want to have more also from the various regions, not just predominantly from the NCR. Next, please. Okay, what have we been up to in the first quarter? Well, we have been busy attending meetings to discuss recovery plans and coordinating with government on various initiatives. Uh, I will not go through them one by one, but these are things that we have been doing. No? We have been doing a recovery symposium for the Middle East. We have also had a Senate committee meeting on House bill. I think this was for the uh, this was for some bills regarding certain destinations, no, to be designated as tourism spots. Mr. Peter Tay for Visayas attended. We also attended the Tourism and Technology Forum uh, organized by the TPB, which seeks to marry technology, especially in the context of what is going on with tourism. Okay, next, please. Uh, we have also attended events with PATA. One of the things that one of the more important meetings that we've had is with the regard to the National Employment Recovery Strategy. This is a group which is was organized and headed, no, by the Department of Labor, of course, with the Department of Tourism, with the DTI, and they want to see how we can spur employment once the situation regains some sort of normalcy. And the tourism, of course, is one of the vital industries where we need to restore employment once again. And then we've also been attending consultation meetings with the DOT on guidelines. As we know, the situation is ever changing, which requires constant updating as far as guidelines are concerned. Okay, next, please. We also attended a meeting almost 2 weeks ago between the organized by the Department of Tourism with the Small Business Corporation, with the TCP and other regional tourism organizations, because we are seeking to further utilize the 6 billion pesos that has been given to the Small Business Corporation as part of the Bayanihan 2. If most of you remember, these were the funds that we strongly lobbied for to be included. And we will have some announcements, or we will have some things to discuss later on in the program with regard to that, which we hopefully would entice more of you, our stakeholders, to avail of the Cares for Travel program. Okay, we also attended yesterday or the other day technical working group with the IATF with regard to the accommodations and the reopening of establishments as we go into another 2 weeks of MECQ. As you may have read in the newspapers today or in the news articles, there's a little bit of loosening as far as some establishments are concerned. So those were the things that we discussed. And yesterday we also had a meeting again organized by the DOT with regard to Boracay matters. Uh, this applies to us here in the NCR as, or not the NCR, sorry, but in Region 1 or in Luzon area because um, the main market for Boracay and the uh, nearby regions emanates from this area. So we wanted to discuss with the Boracay LGUs and the provincial government as well as the stakeholders ways how we can continue to ensure the safety and health of travelers going to Boracay once the current community quarantine status is lifted here in the NCR bubble. Okay. Next slide, please. And yes, well, we will have yours truly will be a panelist for a UST symposium regarding again possible employment for the tourism industry and what to expect after the pandemic or as we go into normal situations. Next, please. We would like to announce we haven't had a website in quite some time. We've been relying on our Facebook page to be the main platform for disseminating our information. We are happy to announce that we have come up with the new TCP website, very straightforward, www.tourismcongressofthephilippines.org. And if we can show the, okay, this is the cover page. We are still populating the content of the website as of now. So we would like to ask our DOT regional offices as well as our members if you have updates that you would want to give with regard to your particular area. We would be more than happy to receive them and feature them on the website. We will do our best to keep the information as real time as possible, knowing how information is very much needed during this time. So we have our sections there. If you see on top, the TCP updates, what we're doing. Government matters. This is where we will be featuring the circulars, the resolutions that come out, and again, the regional offices, if you have some things that you want to share with us, we would be more than happy to post them on that tab as well, on that page as well. And we are also coming up with a tourism mart wherein we envision a marketplace for our members as part of our commitment to networking and the partnership between our stakeholders. So we will give you more details on that as we continue to develop that portion of our website. And we also have, of course, our join now for people who or for establishments who would want to become members of the Tourism Congress. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, as mentioned earlier, no, we will have more updates towards after the presentations of our partners, AirAsia and the Department of Tourism. And we will have an open forum where we can discuss. Of course, this is a consultative meeting at the end of the day, and we are here to hear your sentiments, things that we need to work on, and things that we can do for you, our stakeholders. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, so many interesting things are taking place at the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. So there's no reason for you not to get involved and be involved in all our activities and all our events. Now, I'd like you to welcome Philippine AirAsia's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ricky Isla, to give us updates on the airline, followed by the airline's marketing head, Ms. Eleni Kakam, to tell us more on how we can rebuild tourism together. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Virtual applause.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Hi, Bob. Thank you very much for that good intro. I hope my audio is clear already. Is my
Very
audio
clear.
and video clear?
Very clear.
Okay. Good afternoon to all. Thank you very much to Mr. Jojo Clemente for this invitation to Tourism Congress of the Philippines, and also to our friends from Department of Tourism, all the regional directors. And I also would like to thank our friends from the media and tourism industry stakeholders. A pleasant day to one and all. Actually, I am Dugong Ilocano. My parents are both from Ilocos. In short, I always would look forward to my Sunday lunches with my pinakbet in the table. My mom is from Vigan and my dad is from Lawag. And just for a brief intro, actually, I would never really miss a good round trip going to Ilocos. Because from Ilocos, there's a lot of stopover. Like, for example, Baguio, Pagudpod, Pawai. Sometimes I would even go as far as Kawayan. And not to forget, I would always pass by Manawag for a good mass and try the good food of Clark and Tarlac. And not to forget also, of course, when I go down south, when I used to work for an American company, I would always pass by Mayon Volcano, Daraga, and of course, not to forget Palawan. And of course, Lucena, no? Malapit lang po sa Metro Manila, including Tagaytay. And now, I'm very confident in AirAsia, in behalf of all the air carriers company, Air Carriers Association of the Philippines. We are very confident that the Luzon Tourism is actually back. And we have to be back as a solid team. And as a matter of fact, AirAsia is one with you. And we will make sure that after May 14, hopefully, our tourism trips, our tourism flights will already be open in all of our AirAsia destinations. And the same for Philippine Airlines and Cebu Pacific. Can I start with my next page, please? Slide number 3. Okay. This is actually the result of the pandemic. Manila arrivals in 2019 is a huge 5 million. Clark in 2019 was a huge arrival of about 0.4 million or 436. Thus, in 2019, there was a total visitors arrival as per DOT pre-pandemic of about 8.3 million. And note that in 2020, there was a significant decline. Foreign arrivals fell by 8, or equivalent to only 1.3 million arrivals versus 8.2 in 2019. Next page, please. Now, before I would share with you what recovery activities that we actually are implementing right now, the most important right now to us is, of course, of our 7 AirAsia core values, safety first and people first are the most important. Knowing what is essential. As a matter of fact, last March of 2020, the airline industry, because AirAsia was also part of the Air Carriers Association of the Philippines, was the first to present to the Department of Transport, to the Department of Tourism, to the MIAA and all the airports, the safety protocols. And we strictly followed the strict safety protocols, training our people, contactless solutions, and more importantly, the HEPA or HEPA filters that kills 99% of virus inside the aircraft. And therefore now, what we are now planning moving forward is come May, the most important is, of course, the inoculation of all our employees, most especially our frontliners. To us, that is the best contribution that we think we can be able to assure a safety travel for all our AirAsia passengers. Number 2, We already got our approval from CAAP, or Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, 2 weeks ago, that we can already transport vaccines all over the Philippines. And that, we think, is the best corporate social responsibility that AirAsia has prepared, not only in terms of getting the permits, doing our test runs, training our employees, from our cabin crews, pilots, engineers, ramp people, security. We know what we are already prepared to transport the vaccines in as many destinations as we can, from the Batanes up to Jolo. And finally, we have more flights to and from AirAsia's Manila and Clark hubs. We think that these airports, and in the future, of course, Bulacan, is going to be strategic as we now move towards recovery, not only for what we call our essential flights, but also more especially to open tourism as fast as we can. Next page, please. Now, of course, the most important is what I said earlier, which is the contactless solutions. Because as early as March, we have to upgrade all of our contactless kiosk, and at the same time, further enhance our airasia.com online ticketing. And because of that, moving forward, we are really ready to transform our company. As a matter of fact, we are now more than an airline. And that's exactly what my good friend, our colleague from AirAsia, Ms. Len Kakam, will update us later on, because we are now building AirAsia via airasia.com. That's now our brand name, because we are now a super app, an ASEAN super app that includes airline, ticketing, hotels, tourism activities, including shopping, of course, and most recently, we have logistics, meaning delivery door-to-door, and finally, including our finance e-commerce. Number two, we already have launched most recently, as a matter of fact, coming very soon. We will have not only duty-free products, we will also have other department store products, like, for example, Rustans and other products like SSI. And we're redefining shopping, and that's going to be the travel retail shopping. It's called AirAsia Shop. That's also another digital pivot of our company. We have partnered also with, of course, the most relevant payment gateway, the biggest right now in the Philippines, namely PayMaya and GCash. For your information, ako po ay galing sa PLDT Smart, at kami po ay proud at nag-launch kami ahead of time our PayMaya. But of course, not to forget GCash. So more or less, GCash and PayMaya would help us rebuild tourism, for the simple reason that this is the best payment gateway, of which they have an active member of about 40 to 50 million in the whole Philippines, and of course, including overseas Filipinos. And finally, the last box, the last circle, we have door-to-door cargo and logistics operations, which is we call AirAsia Teleport. So for example, right now, we are doing a test market. We're partnering with McDonald's, but hopefully in the future, we will be in other cities that will also include Luzon cities, Visayas cities, or like, for example, in the future, Mindanao cities, such that, for example, if I start craving for, let's say, Tuguegarao products, all I have to do in the future is, as I now launch my Tuguegarao flights in the near future, we will be able to bring in products and make sure that the farm-to-table exercise will be delivered by what we call our teleport riders. So ang dami pong nangyayari ngayon sa market. And we just have to transform, because this is not only going to be good for our customers, it will help us grow customers, but more importantly is to provide stable job for all our employees and our business partners. That is, in other words, opening commerce and trade as we now move towards a good recovery. Next page, please. Now, aside from this, alam po natin kailangan sama-sama tayong nagtutulungan, right? One of the things that we are doing is corporate social responsibility, internal and external. One of which is what you call All Stars at Your Service. Actually, ito pong All Stars at Your Service is one of the first of its kind. No? It's the first and only online aviation show hosted by our public relations and our public affairs head, Steve Dailisan, who is a deputy pilot and at the same time, okay, a well-known broadcaster from GMA7. Ito po ay hindi lang po para sa aming mga employees, but this is more importantly for our future pasajeros and our loyal partners. Like for example, we give them briefing about number 1, tourism. Okay, number 2, travel requirements so that it makes travel a lot easier for them. And at the same time, we also share stories of our employees, how they're able to cope up with the pandemic. And finally, most likely, the most latest is that how we will be able to contribute in terms of building awareness and education on the importance of vaccine and safety consciousness on anti-COVID. Number 2, we have been doing approximately about 2,000 repatriation flights since second quarter of 2021. Tuloy-tuloy po yan. Not only repatriation of OFWs or LSIs, but including, of course, what we call continuous transport of food, produce, including right now, of course, coming soon, the vaccine. We also have the third circle, our partnership with corporate social responsibility. For example, is the group of Liter of Light. Kasama po namin dito sila Ilak Diaz. No? What we normally do now is we provide transportation for this very good group of Liter of Light that actually provides solar-powered lights to the fishing villages or to the remote areas. As a matter of fact, the most recent is the celebration of Cebu Bicentennial, wherein we brought a lot of Air Asia and Liter of Lights to Cebu. And of course, that will provide support, electrical support to our remote areas in Central Visayas. Hopefully, we will plan one of these days as we go further north or south of Luzon, including Bicol, of course. And finally, most recently, we have Air Asia Always Ready Care Kits. Kasama po yan nung nag-lockdown po at ngayon po sa ating mga community pantries, meron po kaming mga pinimimigay na katulad po ng mga hand sanitizers, face masks, okay, and many other products in that travel kit. Next page, please. So again, I think that's the last part of my presentation. I'm going to turn you over now to my colleague, Ms. Len Kakam, who is going to give us additional details that will zero in on Air Asia's tourism program. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you so much, Ricky. Thank you so much. And you are right. We're always here to support our partners, their local establishments, especially the hotels. And I think in the next few slides, that's what I'm going to present. So now that we know what Air Asia is doing, in the next few slides, I will share some market insights that we've gathered that we feel will be beneficial for all of us. And it can be our jump-off point of discussion on how we can partner together. So in the last few months, we've been trying to, get all the market insights that can guide all our business decisions in Air Asia. And we feel that sharing this with you in the spirit of collaboration is also something that, we want to establish as our practice. The two key takeaways that we can get from this slide will be number 1, because the pandemic has affected people's source of income as well as their personal finances, travelers will actually seek more cost-effective experiences. And because of that, we've been seeing two types of travelers or two types of customers that have arisen because of the pandemic. The first one is the price-sensitive travelers. This means that they would rather choose destinations with reduced cost and frequency of COVID-19 testing requirements, again, because they are traveling on a budget. The second is the value-sensitive traveler, which means that they would choose destinations that are proven to be safe from COVID. And therefore, in the next few years, and in terms of planning their trips, they would opt for a more personalized or tailored trips. And lastly, the other key takeaway will be, we are seeing the rise of transition tourism that triggers a lot of collaboration between stakeholders. And we are very grateful that actually the Department of Tourism have been doing a lot of these campaigns that fall under this trend, and we would like to be part of that and to continue supporting it. So coming from all of these market insights, that we just shared, the challenge that we're really asking ourselves is, how can we rebuild tourism together? That's why I'm here to talk about more on the platform and also the products that we feel will be one way for us to show our support to local businesses and to help rebuild tourism. So, past few years, AirAsia has been known to be an established regional brand. We are Skytrax's world best low-cost airline 11 years in a row, and we fly to 160 destinations across Asia. But we all know that during the pandemic, we also had to adapt to the effects of COVID-19 as well as to the changing market needs. So as mentioned by Sir Ricky a while ago, now we are no longer just an airline, but a travel and lifestyle e-commerce platform. And we aim to be the fastest growing platform across ASEAN. So now we don't only offer flights. You can search and you can book your hotels. Snap is our flight and hotel bundle. We also have activities if you want to do your own itinerary. We also offer bags, meals, and seats. Unlimited deals, we've already launched this last November, wherein you can fly to as many domestic destinations as you want by buying the only flight pass. This is to also our way of supporting trigger demand, especially in the domestic arena. And lastly, as mentioned, we also have our shop, which is our e-commerce. So for the next few slides, I'll be focusing on hotels and Snap because I feel that also to all the members present here, this is something that we can work on together so that we can help you rebuild the business. So what we can offer our partners is actually our website, wherein we can give you the access to our 21 million contactable members. This is and we're looking at this as a long-term partnership, wherein if you become our partner, you don't only have access to our flying guests in our domestic destinations, but also when international borders are open, whenever they search in our website, we can upsell and cross-sell your hotels and your local establishments through our website, as well as to our social media channels. So you would see that in Facebook, in Philippines alone, our Facebook page has 12.6 million followers. In Instagram, we already have 169,000 followers. So as our partner, we do social media postings that are very much dedicated to our partners. And this is one of our ways to, to help support and promote your business. Now, as mentioned a while ago, we feel the four platforms or the four products that we can actually work with you. First is your Snap. Snap is your flight and hotel bundle. So what this means is if you are on board, you can give us your rates and we partner it with our fares so that the only fare or the only price that our customers will see in our platform will be the bundle fare. And this is also one way for us to trigger their demand to travel because they will have bigger savings when they book a flight and hotel bundle. The second one is our hotel. Now, those who already booked their flights, if they're not yet sure of where to stay, they can actually go back to the website and see where the hotels that they can go to, depending on the destination that they book. Again, because we do have the wide database, we can cross-sell and upsell your hotel to remind those who book their flights to also book their hotels, and we could recommend you as our partner. We've actually started a lot of staycation deals promo in the last few weeks, focusing on Luzon. We already have a few partners in Tagaytay, for example, and some in Pampanga, and we want to really onboard more hotels in the Luzon area. And then the third to the last is our A-Pass discount. So we've already established this in partnership with DOT Boracay, as well as the local establishments in the island, wherein they can give discounts to our AirAsia flying guests. So what this means is we can help drive customers to the establishments because there are additional advertisements and promotions from our end and highlighting all our partners and where they can get the discounts. So far, this is only in Boracay, and we wish to really expand this to all the other destinations. And then lastly, of course, for your business solutions or business travel needs, we also have My Corporate. So you can have exclusive corporate fares and greater flexibility when you travel for work. Now, these are, only the main items that I want to focus on this presentation. And if you are very much willing to get on board and to partner with us, I would leave maybe a link and also the email where you can contact us, so we can have one-on-one meetings and we can discuss it further or in detail. And lastly, of course, aside from this, if you have your own campaigns and if you have your own events happening, we are very much willing and we are very much supportive. Just let us know how we can help and how we can support. We'll be open to collaboration. Again, thank you so much for giving us the time, and stay safe always. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Air Asia, our friends from Air Asia, and we know we can depend on you to help us rebuild a tourism industry together. Now we move on to the next part of the program. We have invited the Department of Tourism regional directors from Luzon to share with us their tourism plans and directions. And let me first call on Ms. Jovita Ganongan, who is the officer in charge and regional director for the Cordillera Administrative Region.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me greet first the officers and trustees of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. Mr. Jojo Clemente, of course, Mr. Victor Martinez, Mr. Bob Sosobrado, and also the officers of Philippine Air Asia, Mr. Ricky Isla, Ms. June Aleni Kakam, and my colleagues from the Department of Tourism, Region 1, Director Fanny Beth Domingo, Director Carolina Uy, Director Mike Palispis, and Assistant Secretary Chris Morales, and Director Febuela. So, naimbag nga aldaw tayo amin from Baguio City. So again, thank you for this opportunity to be able to give you an update on Cordillera's tourism and share some strategies and ways forward. As we all know, COVID-19 has really brought the industry to its knees, but the situation now is something that we need to face and accept as a challenge as we support and stand by the industry moving forward. So can we have next? For Cordillera Tourism, can we have the next slide? For Cordillera Tourism at this time, we are still under general community quarantine status. For two provinces, they are under MECQ, that's Abra and Ifugao, just today, that is the update. And under GCQ, according to IATF resolution, leisure travel is prohibited. Thus, even the DOT advisory also prescribes that accommodation establishments are not allowed to accept leisure travelers. That is the case for all areas under GCQ. Next. However, Baguio City was able to get an exemption to accept tourists, but not from areas that are still under ECQ or MECQ. That means NCR+. Also, the exemption comes with the condition that it must continue to observe strict compliance to health and safety protocols and contact tracing measures, which they do. Next. So Baguio City now is open even under GCQ status and accept tourists coming from same status or lower, no? So under Executive Order number 51A, which is a local ordinance. So next, can we have the next slide? So Baguio City entry guidelines prescribes registration through the Visita app. That's an online registration, and that request for travel approval must be you have to approve. We have to approve first the request to travel. Then a QTP will be issued after that, and tourists must present a negative COVID test result, which can be secured 72 hours prior to travel or upon arrival. And all arriving visitors must proceed to the city's triage before checking into hotels. So that's basically the requirement in Baguio City. Okay, so let me just show you this slide, which gives us a glimpse of the number of arrivals in the city of Baguio, which the Visita app was able to monitor. And when we opened in October, following the Reach to Reef Green Lane agreement with Region 1 from October until October 22, we received quite a good number of requests, especially towards the end of October, when it was already open to the whole of Luzon. No, then it increased towards the peak months, which is November and December, reaching to about 19,000, as you see here, which is still, of course, less than the pre-COVID data, which reaches to more than 100,000 every month. No? But the actual arrivals from the period October to December was 17,576. Okay, next. For this year, January, February, the numbers are quite low, but in March, very surprising requests reached more than 66,000. No? But only showed actual arrival of 24,000. This is due, of course, to the declaration of NCR Plus under ECQ towards the end of March. So we received cancellations last minute. So talagang bumaba. So April figure shows a very low turnout likewise as compared with the past months. And with the DOT also with the DOT advisory prohibiting AEs or accommodation establishments in areas under GCQ to accept leisure travelers, Baguio also had to close for the period March 22 to April 4, which was actually covering the Holy Week. But now we are again open. Next. For other areas in the region, is still closed for tourism, but some tourism sites are open for residents within the locality or the province and nearby municipalities, but declaring localized lockdowns as they say from time to time. So this is Apayao. So this is Apayao, as you can see. So and Abra, let's and Kalinga. So okay, Abra. Next. So only, okay, so for Mountain Province is still closed, but Bontoc, which is a specific municipality, is open for residents only. Next. And in Ifugao is still actually closed, but this town, which is called Alfonso Lista, where you can do bird watching, is actually open for residents during its MGCQ period. This was open to the entire of Luzon, and this is very near Isabela, so it can be accessed from the airport of Kawayan. Next. And for the nearby municipalities of Baguio, Tuba, for instance, open for nearby municipalities within the BLIS, as we call it, Baguio, La Trinidad, Itogon, Sablan, Tuba, and Tublay. And another municipality in Benguet, that's Kapangan, it's also open for residents only. And Itogon, which is also near Baguio, open for residents only. And La Trinidad, very proximate to Baguio, is also open for residents only. Okay, so next. So what is being done now as we prepare for recovery is to also ensure that the industry is given support, given the support needed, in order to cushion the blow and prevent further losses and ensure business continuity. And the main strategy at this stage is to support initiatives of tourism-related entrepreneurs to develop or strengthen livelihood activities that will augment income from tourism, or serve as an alternative to some that are presently inoperable tourism businesses. So hence, next, one of the one of the national programs initiated is the Cares for Travel, which is an interest-free loan for the industry through the SB Management Corps under DTI. Next. So in CAR, we recorded 17 enterprises that availed of this program with a total amount released of 6,938,000. It's quite low actually. Next, we also continue to monitor the implementation of the DOT-DOLE financial assistance for tourism workers in the region. We have endorsed more than 30,000 workers, and as of today, 82,785,000 has already been remitted, and awaiting the disbursements of the remaining budget of 93 million more. So we hope to be able to give to everybody in our database. Okay, next. Another responsive strategy now is to be able to strike a balance. So our goal in tourism is to be able to move and lead the industry within allowable limits and prescribed guidelines, no? To provide the environment where businesses can still operate, but doing the balancing act. And to ensure the safety of workers and guests, of course, that's the primordial concern. So next. So the approach is now is to have a regulated and cautious reopening. Thus, the guidelines in the operation of tourist attractions. At least we have this as a guide. Tourism activities are allowed under GCQ. That's why we are able to go out in Baguio City and even the rest of the Cordilleras for residents. But within 50% capacity only for all tourism sites, and 70% under MGCQ. So because it's already open for tourism. So for as long as the minimum public health protocols are observed. So that's just a requirement. So next. The conduct of tours through travel agencies has been prescribed also to guide tour operators and tour guides. So under MGCQ, tour guides may conduct tours provided the number of participants is limited to 50% of the seat or the venue capacity and subject to the restrictions imposed by the local government unit. And next, for accommodation establishments, DOT has also issued the guidelines, and continuous orientation for AEs is conducted. So this is the guide in all the regions. So it depends really on what status you are in. Next. So moving forward now, as we continue to respond to the circumstances of the pandemic, we have so far laid down recovery efforts in the short and long term. Our objective now is for the region's tourism sector to adapt to the new normal and be better positioned to compete in the tourism market, given emerging tourism trends post-pandemic. And the main strategies will be to ensure competitiveness by leveraging CAR's major strengths in nature, culture, and farm tourism, and to raise CAR's marketability to domestic tourists and soon to the international market, and to diversify and innovate on product offering by developing new tourism circuits, and to continue to capacitate the tourism workforce to cope and adapt in the new normal. So next. So as a continuing effort, we need to prepare tourism establishments and practitioners for the safe resumption of tourism. So what we do now is to continue guide the establishments in adhering minimum health protocols. Our accreditation is in full swing. We have issued the accreditation to a total of 506 properties, and out of these are accommodation establishments. So these are the establishments that are prepared to accept tourists. So we have this per category. Next. Next. 22 agri-tourism farm sites. Next. Let's just skip that. And we are also proud that aside from the accreditation, some of our hotels did the extra mile. 3 have been given WTTC Safe Travels Stamp Award, or the World Travel and Tourism Council. These are the Baguio Country Club, Forest Lodge, and the Manor at Camp Chanhe. Okay. Next, next is the continuous conduct of IECs and tourism industry manpower development and capacity building also for local government units. So at this time, we have seen the power of technology and we have maximized the use of it in order to reach more establishments and workers. We have conducted a total of 52 webinars last year, reaching to almost 2,000 stakeholders and still continuing this year. And recently, can we, next. So these are some examples. So recently we have conducted also a tourism and resiliency forum last February. It's entitled Reanchoring and Redirecting Our Ships in Evolving Storms, gathering stakeholders all over the region and provided the venue for sharing best practices and updating the industry on market opportunities and demands, rethinking tourism and sustainable tourism development. Next. We also conduct regular consultations with our partner local government units to provide updates and information on status of tourism, both local and international and national. And we have continued to provide technical services in tourism plan formulation, including training on tourism statistics and the need for database to guide us in proper planning both now and in the future. Also, next. Also guided by the new market trends and travel preferences in the new normal, we need to diversify and innovate tourism offers. So diversification is crucial for tourism competitiveness because tourism markets are very dynamic and can be unstable at this time. And according to the Philippine Travel Survey report conducted during the early months of the ECQ lockdown, travelers are more likely to reduce their travel budget the higher their expected income reduction is. No? So the survey finds that 74% foresee a reduction in income and 44% expect a reduction in travel budget. So this generally points to a very high likelihood of the domestic travel market substantially shrinking because of the economic repercussion of the pandemic. So the concern for CAR is that the survey finds that the potential market prefer beach areas as their destinations. But also an opportunity for CAR is the fact that all the other interests are its area of strength. So you can see visiting museums, traveling solo or backpacking, taking an eco or farm tour. So all of this, doing an outdoor activity, biking, going on a staycation, and going on a road trip. So these things you can be able to do in the Cordilleras. So, but then of course, we recognize that all this data suggests that competition between and among destinations in the country will become really more intense in the years following the pandemic. So this scenario should drive now our region to innovate and diversify its tourism offerings to remain competitive. So the strategy here is to create tourism circuits to connect different destinations and package accordingly so that sites within proximity could be easily visited, disperse travelers to untap and nearby destinations. We are now going into all of these destinations that are not popular, that were not popular pre-COVID. So next. So we have identified farm tourism circuits. We have identified and assessed existing and potential farm sites in the region. And the development of each site will consider creating farm tours that can be packaged with ecotourism activities like forest bathing or nature therapy and trekking, and farm tours with food and culinary tourism. Next. Arts and craft using farm produce, edible landscaping experiences, health and wellness tourism, and other cultural tourism activities. So diverse offer even in one destination, even if it's thematic. No? So specifically for culinary tours, we have identified areas already highlighting the existence of heritage cuisines. No? Activities can be done standalone or part of the farm experience. depending on the readiness of the destination for a diversified offer. To encourage and promote food tourism across provinces of the region, we have actually recently conducted, or actually we are conducting the Mangan Taku Food Festival this week to highlight heritage cuisine as a unique offer and food as part of the brand of the destination. So this is across the provinces in the Cordillera. So these are just let me just share you some photos of our mga taku this week that is ongoing, promoting food, gathering chefs for a competition, doing a mini chef's fair because of the limitation in large gathering. We have to do it mini, but we also have done online food conversations to really focus on food as also part of our brand, and in line also with the celebration of the Filipino Food Month. Okay. Next. So we had actually also, utilized outdoor areas in the city of Baguio to do our events, since we know that the outdoor areas are safer than enclosed venues. So since we have beautiful sceneries in the city of Baguio, might as well also promote it as a background and backdrop of our events, so that people can be able to see there's a sense of normalcy in the way we do in the city of Baguio. There's a way to do it, doing it safely. Okay, next, on cultural tourism, we also have partnered with SM, as you can see, so very mini, just so to give them a glimpse of Cordillera-inspired food, also promoting restaurants that are actually furloughed for the longest time. Next. Sorry, that's supposed to be okay. That's farm and food tours, as I've mentioned. And on cultural tourism, we want to highlight the UNESCO heritage sites of Ifugao. We shall develop circuits that will focus on the value of the rice terraces as a living cultural landscape. Also, next, highlighting the weaving industry in Cordilleras as an old age tradition that is intricately part of ritual life, emphasizing cultural significance and the need to preserve and transmit to the next generation to foster Cordillera culture and identity. And next, nature tourism, of course, remains our strength. And the survey will show that people will travel to keep their sanity, and our nature offers will address that need. Breath in fresh air, release those tensions and anxieties brought by more than a year of uncertainty. Garden walks and meditation will help you survive this pandemic. So this is now our new normal offer. Next, also walking in outdoor spaces that will take you to historical and nature routes is another offer. And next, activities that are existing under the new normal offers also include next, we have also, so you can see Baguio City now, Burnham Park, Session Road, the cathedral. So all of these are walkable spaces that are available for the tourists, and very accessible nature parks also. You can do a creative crawl, and we want to integrate or infuse storytelling in the creative crawls, providing interaction with local artists, because that is what we actually do now. Street art in the park demos, visit to galleries, weaving, silver craft, and other creative spaces, specifically for Baguio City, as it is a UNESCO Creative City. Recently, we also have developed a pilgrimage tour next that was launched during the Holy Week. This is the Christian Jubilee Pilgrimage Tour in celebration of the 500 years of Christianity in the Philippines. So putting at the center the tour Jubilee churches, granted to give plenary indulgence. So this tour is available until 2022. So open so this is under our faith-based tourism. Next. Other existing offers in the new normal would be under leisure and recreation, staycation, targeting families and market that are not vulnerable. Some activities may include golf, because we have golf courses, glamping, outdoor garden dining, or al fresco. This also following the fact that tourists prefer outdoor destinations with staycations. And Baguio and the rest of the Cordilleras is very ideal for all these activities with the cool weather. And let me just show you some of the hotels that are offering staycations, like the Manor at Kanchanhe. They have this promo deals, 2,500 net per night, for as low as 1,900. They also have long stay promo, 7 nights stay at 15,000. So you can do your vacation here, work from hotel or work from holiday. So and then you can work, and then you can still be able to experience all the offers that we have here. This is another one. This is Lemonade. This is within Kanchanhe also, offering a package to include forest bathing within Kanchanhe. This is the newest hotel in Baguio City. It's called, they just opened actually the other week. It's called the Lafayette Luxury Suites. So they have special offers now. Get your third night free if you stay 3 nights and pay only for 2 rooms. So we have star-rated hotels in the city of Baguio that can be offered to even to international market. Next. And so other ways forward, let me just also mention that as a marketing strategy overall, we want to position the Cordillera as a safe and ready destination. We have produced various videos and documentaries highlighting new offers as well. And other ways forward now are, of course, to continue with the messaging that health and safety is a primordial concern and is striking a balance between health and the economy. We have to maintain our brand presence. As they say, a place brand does not cease to be a place brand simply because it cannot be visited. It just needs to be experienced differently. We will bring the virtue of the destination to life through a combination of technology and creativity. We want to connect with our stakeholders and become a source of information, and we will push the recovery forward beyond the pandemic, of course, emphasizing strengthening capacities and sustainable development. We will continue to embrace the digital revolution and social media campaigns. We will create content and more content. We will harness the enthusiasm for travel in appropriate and productive ways. This time, people may be cautious, very, very cautious to travel, but nurturing that pent-up wanderlust will have huge returns over the coming years. So I guess that is my last slide. I'd like to say maraming salamat. In the Cordillera, we say matago-tago takulosan, mabuhay, and be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gadongan. We certainly look forward to the opening of all the tourism sites and accommodations on the Cordillera administrative region. And hopefully that's going to happen soon, as long as everything that's been planned will take place. So we
hope to have you soon.
You know, and we hope to see you there. Okay, thank you very much. Next on the line is Ms. Fanny Beth Domingo, who is the officer in charge and regional director for the Department of Tourism's Region 2. Ms. Domingo.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Thank you for having us here today. Let me share my screen. Okay, there you go. I'd like to say good afternoon to everyone. I hope you are all well and safe. And good afternoon, of course, the trustees and officers of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, led by Mr. Jojo Clemente, and to our fellow presenters, especially I just would like to make special mention to my Assistant Secretary, Engineer Christopher Morales, and my fellow RDs in the Department of Tourism, RD Jovi, RD Carol, RD Mike, and RD Fe. And of course, I would like to make special mention to our delegation from the Cagayan Valley region. And as a whole, actually, the Region 2 is in GCQ at the moment, while some LGUs are in MECQ. And however, with that in place, DOT is doing its share to inform our stakeholders of the programs of the department by conducting various tourism convergence updates. As we prepare for the reopening of tourism in the new normal, we continue to monitor the availability of health and safety protocols. Allow me to present to you the outline of my presentation as follows. I will be presenting the new normal tourism circuits of Region 2, continuing product development programs, as well as the direction for development in 2022 and beyond. Our new normal tourism circuits proposed for launching in 2022 are the following. These circuits actually have undergone the rigorous tourism product development process, and we are using the tourism product development cycle to come up with one. As we also incorporate the new normal post-COVID-19 plan portfolios identified in the National Tourism Development Plan, namely dive tourism, sun and beach, cultural tourism and heritage, adventure and sports tourism, faith, food, farm, and ecotourism under mountains, nature, and open spaces, which is all over the place, especially here in Region 2. I would like to situate the first tourism circuit, which is in Nueva Vizcaya, located at the heart of the Luzon mainland. For the new normal tourism circuit of the province, the tagline actually is Feel the Vibe, Vizcaya. The portfolio here includes culture and heritage, adventure and sports, farm and food. The town of Santa Fe is rich in culture and history. It goes down the history books because of Balete Pass and the presence of World War II Sherman tank and interesting trekking sites. Barangay Maliko in Santa Fe forms a boundary in San Nicolas, Pangasinan. Bayombong and Bambang offers paragliding and ATV rides, as you can see here in the picture. Dupax del Sur is famous for its National Cultural Treasure Church in Dupax del Sur. Kasibu Town is home to the famous Kapisaan Cave System, which is the fifth longest in the country, and hectares upon hectares of citrus farms. Nueva Vizcaya also have pristine waterfalls. Climb the mountains of Vizcaya and discover a sea of clouds. Nueva Vizcaya is about 6 hours drive from Manila, about 2 hours drive away from the Ifugao Rice Terraces, 1.5 hours drive from the Kawayan Domestic Airport, which at the moment has 5 flights daily. We also have a lot of DOT accredited tourism service providers. For our next circuit, we'll go to Quirino Province, also located at the heart of the Luzon mainland. The new normal tourism circuit for the province of Quirino has a tagline of Quirino, your basket of happiness. The portfolio includes nature, adventure and sports, as well as culture. In the province of Quirino, you have to go to Nagtipunan and Madela for water sports adventure in a natural setting. So as you can see in the Cagayan River, enjoy river tubing, boating, or shoot the rapids. Or if you would rather just enjoy swimming and cliff diving. Do waterfalls hopping in the province of Quirino and aim for at least 4 waterfalls in one day. In Cabarugis, this is where the only water sports facility in northern Luzon is located, where you can do wakeboarding the whole day. Stay at the Quirino Water Sports Complex or choose a homestay. In Nagtipunan Town in Quirino, this is a boundary to Aurora Province in Region 3. While the whole province of Quirino is about 1 hour from Kawayan Airport, it is only just 3 hours to the Ifugao Rice Terraces. Also, while in Quirino, have a chance to witness the production of fossilized flowers from the leaves of trees, turned into colorful flower arrangements. I will now bring you up north in the town of Santa Ana. It is located at the tip of the Luzon mainland, and Santa Ana is in the province of Cagayan. The town of Santa Ana is located at the northeastern tip of Luzon mainland. And the tagline for the tourism circuit of Santa Ana is Amazing Santa Ana. It is home to the only lighthouse in the northeastern seaboard of Luzon mainland, called the Cape and Ghania Lighthouse, built in 1892. It guided seafarers moving from the Pacific Ocean to the West Philippine Sea. It has a very interesting story on Philippine navigation, just like the town of Apari and its port. Santa Ana, being a coastal town, offers water sports activities like game fishing, beach exploration, island hopping, and the most famous of which is the visit to Cape and Ghania Lighthouse in Palawi Island. Palawi Island is a protected area famous in the international world of travel and being the shooting location for Survivor Series 27 and 28, and that of the famous South African professional adventurer and explorer, Mr. Mike Horn. Santa Ana is also famous among game fishing enthusiasts who visit the town for national and international fishing competitions yearly. Santa Ana is serviced by the Cagayan North International Airport, and the town is about 2 hours away from the Tuguegarao Domestic Airport in the province of Cagayan. I'd like to give to you the continuing product development programs of the Department of Tourism Region 2. In the province of Cagayan, we will be spearheading the knowledge transfer of the culture of harp making and harp playing. This is particularly present in the town of Ballesteros, in the northwestern side of the province of Cagayan. The Cagayan portfolio includes culture and history, farm and food, ecotourism, nature, sun and beach, with a long line of tourism attractions led by Our Lady of Piat and the Calao Caves Tourism. For the province of Isabela, the portfolios include nature and culture-based tourism, as well as farm and food, history, and culture. It is particularly in Isabela is the Philippine freshwater crocodile and the world-famous Northern Shera Madre Natural Park. Access to the park would be from the airports in Maconacon and Palanan, flying in from Kawayan Airport. In the province of Batanes, this is a standalone destination, and it remains to be one of the top 3 bucket lists of every Filipinos. To prepare the future normal, by the way, we have directions for the directions in the 2022 and beyond. These are the following programs. We would like to include Cagayan North International Airport in tourism bubbles, thus increasing air traffic with other regions in the country. And right now we're talking with Clark International Airport, Region 12 and Region 7, and the rest of the North Luzon regions. We are also creating a cultural thematic circuits for all the provinces in Region 2. as well as the development of accessibility for the island municipality of Calayan. We will also create tourism corridors with North Luzon regions, particularly Nueva Vizcaya to Ifugao, Quirino to Aurora, Cagayan to Kalinga, and Apayao, as well as Isabela to Mountain Province. Our big ticket projects in Region 2 include the following: the preparation for the new normal QR code for Region 2, and hopefully we will be able to install this year. We are giving out about 263 million pesos for the Bayanihan 2 program. And we are conducting a series of orientation for stakeholders to be updated in the programs and projects of the Department of Tourism. One of the biggest projects of the department this year will be to conduct a motorismo caravan. And this is to promote established destinations and encourage activities in outdoors and open spaces. Support the quincentennial celebrations under the pilgrimage component, and to showcase the excellent infrastructure of the Cagayan Valley region. We would also promote long drives and rolling tours in scenic highways. This is especially true in the new normal because we would like to showcase our vast open spaces in the region. Under the Farm, Food, and Fun Festival, we will support and promote farm-to-table food production and preparation. This is, of course, to help preserve our heirloom recipes. Encourage visits and activities in DOT-accredited farm tourism areas, and to discover talented local chefs, as well as to promote slow food and shopping. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for listening to the presentation from the Department of Tourism, Cagayan Valley Region. Your Islands and Valley of Fun. Good afternoon.
Wow. Thank you very much. That was a very comprehensive, detailed coverage of what you plan to do. And I really hope that all your big ticket projects will push through, because we're looking forward to a more dynamic and more energized tourism industry in that region. So now we move on to the next presenter, and that will be Miss Carolina Uy, who's the Regional Director of DOT Region 3. Miss Uy.
Thank you very much, Sir Bob. I hope I'm coming in clear, sir.
Yes, you're clear.
Okay, thank you. So to the distinguished members of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, my esteemed colleagues in the industry, our guest officials from AirAsia Philippines, fellow RDs, friends, a pleasant afternoon to all. Okay. Since the first implementation of community quarantines in the Philippines, we have witnessed how the current pandemic has impacted our country from its health, economy, and more specifically, tourism. However, it is our resilience that made the difference as the Filipino spirit continues uncertainties. Central Luzon has displayed a vital role not only in the fight against COVID, but also in the pursuit of tourism in the new normal, proven by its performance throughout the years. Region 3 enjoys the spotlight as being a potential destination in reviving tourism in the country. Thus, it is with great gratitude to the Tourism Congress of the Philippines for having me today to present to you front and center Department of Tourism Central Luzon's directions in rebooting tourism at the heart of Luzon. To give you a rundown in summing up the impact of pandemic to the tourism industry of Central Luzon, the regional office has recorded more than 4 million overnight guests in 2019, which significantly decreased by 68%, with 1,318,727 overnight guests in 2020. Central Luzon tourist receipts also recorded a significant drop from 21.1 billion pesos in 2019 down to 6.7 billion pesos in 2020 due to the pandemic. The DOT Region 3 has projected an estimated loss of 14.3 billion tourist receipts for 2020. And to help revive the economy, we aim to come up with stronger marketing strategies to promote our regions that would pave the way for intra and inter-regional tourism circuits. Ensure that the region's pandemic prevention measures in the region are implemented and monitored in partnership with our different local government units, and support tourism initiatives in promoting new and improved tourism products. In order to cushion the effects of the pandemic, the Department of Tourism Central Luzon has crafted its recovery plan and prepare our stakeholders for the restart of tourism industry in the region. Under our product and market development, we've been promoting the Slow Food, Slow Travel Caravan and the cuisine in Pampanga, or the Kapampangan cuisine, to cater the demands of our tourists who are looking for short-haul trips with their families, friends, and loved ones, since most of our tourists look for outdoor tourism activities due to the situation. This initiative is combined with our farm tourism sites in these areas. The food mapping activities of Pampanga and Bulacan aim to create an inventory of heirloom dishes where all of its ingredients come from. These will be significant in effectively creating a more sustainable culinary tourism plan. The food map output will be very significant for the provinces to further develop both culinary and farm industries in the preservation and promotion of culture and tourism, thus further boosting tourism activity and stimulating economic growth in the provinces and ultimately advocating sustainable tourism. On this cue, we will also highlight the province of Pampanga in celebrating the Filipino culinary heritage through the event Flavors of Pampanga, which will happen this May 2021. To promote Central Luzon, particularly the province of Pampanga, in consideration of its close proximity to Metro Manila. The regional office is boosting culinary tourism through a short-haul culinary tourism itinerary. This hybrid culminating activity is in celebration of the Filipino Food and Heritage Month, which aims to highlight the heirloom recipes of Central Luzon, while zeroing in on Pampanga's thriving culinary gems. Our office, in collaboration with our local tour operators and Philtoa, continue to seek attractions for our tourists, particularly in the areas of Pampanga, Tarlac, and Nueva Ecija. Our team validates prospected tourism products that will further enhance our intra and inter-regional circuits targeted for domestic tourists. The said activities are currently ongoing and is targeted to be done by June of this year. Our team is also working unswervingly to further enhance the existing Clark Pampanga Subic Bay circuit, which was soft launched last November 2020. This move aims to complement the interregional travel bubbles that is set to be launched this year. To gain back the confidence of our local travelers to patronize domestic tourism and stimulate travel by air, joint efforts with the Department of Tourism Regional Offices 4B or Nemeropa and DOT Region 7 or Central Visayas with Lipad, Clark Lipad, and the DOT North Luzon Cluster to promote domestic tourism and showcase safe and ready tourism offerings by air. These are eyed to be launched between the second to third quarter of this year. Of course, we will take the opportunity of having the new passenger terminal building at Clark International Airport, which will begin its operations on July 2021 for domestic flights and on September 2021 for international flights. These initiatives would not only cover Clark, Pampanga, and Subic Bay, but also selected destinations in the Cordilleras, the Ilocos region, and Cagayan Valley region that are now open to tourists. Our region's flagship product is currently being developed is the Soul Circuit, which is an interregional circuit that would include the Manila Bay as the jump-off point. This will take a half-day ferry tour towards the Corregidor Island that will lead to Camaya Coast in Mariveles and a land trip to Mount Samat and Las Casas, Filipinas de Acuzar, including the newest attractions in Bataan, such as Rancho Bernardo, among others. And when we promote our destinations, we also promote their products. With the creation of the Soul Circuit, we want to showcase the world-class wood mosaics carved by the women of Bataan. We will also be conducting a cultural mapping of World War II historical sites in the region, which takes a deeper look into the history to capture the story of Filipino bravery. This will be used as a walkthrough of the important events about the World War II surrender sites. Other relative attractions or products with the historical components will be complemented through the Soul Circuit. To develop more tourism products, the regional office will be creating a Tarlac Eco-Historical Guided Bike Tour and Eco-Cultural Historical Circuit starting from Bataan. Our office will also be developing a farm, food, and pilgrimage tour, an inter-province linkage of gastronomical flavors of Pampanga with the iconic Monasterio de Tarlac and glamping experience at Mudita in San Jose, followed by the breathtaking views of Dueg Capia Quentalna at San Clemente, Tarlac. Towards the east side of the region, countless adventures and nature experiences never ends in Nueva Ecija and Aurora. Apart from the tourism-related establishments, our office is currently strengthening its tie-ups with the medical and wellness tourism facilities. We believe that now is the perfect time to boost medical tourism given our inventory of state-of-the-art facilities. To ensure clarity in guiding the various sectors within the industry on specific health and safety protocols under the new normal operations, the Department of Tourism has issued specific protocols for various tourism enterprises, and we enjoin all our tourism enterprises to strictly adhere to these issuances of the DOT, the DOH, and the IATF, and other national government agencies to ensure the safety of our tourists and our workforce. As we implement these plans and embark in these exciting tours, the DOT Regional Office 3 supports the entry protocols implemented by the national government as well as the local government units in ensuring safety in our travels within the area. The whole region remains to be under Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ except for the province of Bulacan. Said province is included in the NCR Plus bubble under MECQ until May 14, 2021. For the provinces of Aurora and Zambales, leisure travel and activities are only allowed for their residents within their respective provinces. Non-residents traveling for leisure and non-essential purposes are prohibited. Meanwhile, Bataan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and Tarlac opened its doors to non-residents provided that entry requirements are submitted and protocols are observed. Bulacan, on the other hand, only allows essential travel due to its stricter community quarantine classification. Common requirements among the provinces are proof of residence, necessary documents justifying the essentiality of the travel, and a negative RT-PCR result taken not more than 72 hours before travel. And lastly, here are some of the tourism initiatives from our destinations. As a premier recreation and adventure mecca, the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority toughens its grip to its title through its fantastic Subic Bay campaign with its attractive promos and facilities to keep tourism vibrant in the region. And one of SBMA's special offerings is the Sunset Cruise at Subic Bay Yacht Club. SBMA allows leisure travel for tourists coming from MGCQ areas. Nueva Ecija, on the other hand, strengthens their tourism through their mobile app and other local tourism activities, while the Association of Hotels in Clark has also come up with their latest slogan and catchphrase, "All roads lead to Clark," in its efforts to entice tourists to spend worry-free staycations at the Freeport's leisure hotels and visit go-to spots such as Clark Parade Grounds, the Clark Museum, and the 4D Theater. With carefully plotted plans, doable measures, and multi-sectoral cooperation, tourism can recover and thrive. And with the Department of Tourism at the forefront, along with the Filipino spirit and resiliency, we will get there. After COVID-19, let your adventure start in Central Luzon. See you in the new normal. On behalf of the Department of Tourism, Central Luzon, we say mabuhay, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ms. Uy. That was a very, very exciting presentation. Looking forward to availing of the culinary specialties and the slow food and slow travel promo that you have. And I'm
Thank
sure
you,
we're going to
sir.
bump into each other again when we, because Clark is the main highlight for the Pata Adventure Travel Mart. We'll be featuring Clark during the next month's Pata Adventure Travel Mart.
Wow. We will be very happy to host the PATA event, sir. Thank you very much for choosing Clark.
Thank you. Okay, before we go on, let me thank once again our sponsors for the day, the Philippine Air Asia, and our partner, the Department of Tourism. And of course, I want to thank all our friends from the press who are here with us today. All right, let's move on to the next speaker, who will be Mr. Michael Palispis, who's the Regional Director of the Department of Tourism, Region 4A, Calabarzon.
Thank you, Sir Bob. I'm very honored to be part of this day's event. Before anything else, I would like to greet the Tourism Congress of the Philippines President, Sir Jojo Clemente. I've known him for a very long time. And to my fellow RDs and ASEC Christopher Morales, good afternoon, and to all the members of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines. Let me share the screen, please. Here are the initiatives that we're doing to develop and market the tourism products of Calabarzon. Next slide, please. Number one is to promote positive image and ensure the safety and security of tourists. So I will discuss it more elaborate in the presentation. Number two, full support to our emerging tourism products, such as farm tourism sites, ecotourism sites, culinary centers, and educational tourism. Number three is to develop tourism circuits and travel bubbles, looping cluster municipalities and connecting travels to cluster provinces and other regions. Next slide, please. There's a commitment to promote Calabarzon region as a fun, sustainable, and safe destination through our flagship domestic tourism program for recovery and response under the new normal, which I will discuss later on. Next slide, please. Well, the strength of Calabarzon, alam naman natin, this is very, very near NCR, within 65% of our arrivals from. So our strength is basically our location, and based on the survey, the travelers wants to go on a road trip and to near destinations from NCR. So we are in the advanced state of infrastructure leakages and accessibility with the opening of the connector from the North Luzon to the South Luzon Expressway and the Calax as well as the Cavitex. Next slide, please. Next slide. For Calabarzon, I'll just breeze through our tourism product because the positioning of our tourism product, majority of you already know, and it has been presented numerous times. So I'll just go directly to our COVID situationer, please. Currently, the provinces of Laguna, Rizal, and Cavite is included in the bubble with NCR and Bulacan. So it was extended. We've just received the guidelines that is extended from May 1 to 14, and the GCQ status of Quezon and Batangas will be up to May 31. So for our COVID situationer, as of now, we have almost 24,451 confirmed cases. The highest is in Cavite with 8,563. Next is Laguna, 5,737. Batangas, 4,275. Rizal, 4,145. Quezon, 1,620. And Lucena with 111. Actually, I just came from another report, and based on the data, mas mataas pa yung COVID active cases this month, this year, kesa last year. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. For Upland, for the impact on the tourism aspect, for 2019, we have 6,545,672 overnight tourists. But for 2020, the same months, we only have 382,852, or a negative 94.15%. So for same-day arrival, also 48,346,527. But last year, 2020, we only have 6,283,706, or negative 87% drop in same-day arrival. As you would know, 2 of the provinces of Calabarzon was included in the top 10 destinations in the Philippines, most visited destination. This is Rizal, which is number 2, and Batangas, which is number 6. Next slide, please. So for our projected loss for the tourism receipt, last 2019, we garnered around 93,905,660,500,000 tourism receipts for Calabarzon. But for 2020, we only have 11,410,245,000. That's a drop of almost 88%, and napakalaki po ng impact nito sa tourism industry ng Calabarzon region. So as of this month, we have 288 accredited establishment in the region. So what we're doing in the recovery program, and what we are doing to help the tourism workers of Calabarzon, we under the Bayanihan 2 project with the DOLE, DOT DOLE, Cash and Financial Assistance Program for Calabarzon, already disbursed around 57,533 workers with amount of 287,665. So for Laguna, we have provided to 14,161,100, and with amount of 70,805, followed by Batangas 13,754, or 68,770. Quezon 10,614, or 53 million. Rizal 10,582 with 52 million, and Cavite with 8,422 tourism workers, amounting to 42,110, with a total of 287,665. So for our SB Corps Bayanihan Cares program, update as of April 16. So these are for the tourism establishments. We have 58 tourism enterprises that applied for soft loan with DTI SB Corps. Kasi as you know, DOT does not have a lending function. So what we did, what the department did was partner with the DTI on this endeavor. So as of now, out of 36 applications, there were 28 released as of now, as of April 16, with a total amount of 5.1 million loan amount that was released. Let me take you to the journey to the Calabarzon, most loved and best kept destinations. Ito yung aming, actually I developed this program together with my team here in Calabarzon. We developed the Green Corridor Initiative program as our flagship project for Calabarzon. So the development of the Green Corridor in the region highlights the resilient, sustainable, and inclusive future of vulnerable tourism attractions, destination, and its people. So the Green Corridor will play an important role in maintaining regional biodiversity, improving environmental quality, offering economic resilience opportunity, as well as protecting heritage and culture in the new normal. Because I believe that not only that we develop the circuits as a safe travel bubble, but we should also develop a program to ensure its sustainability. So what we did is, when we developed the Green Corridor Initiative, we will provide a digital platform for each of the circuits within the travel bubble to ensure the safety not only of the tourists but of the establishments as well as the community. That's the most important thing. Can you take it back to the first slide, please? Yes. So we will provide a digital platform for the circuits within the Green Corridor Initiative. This will include a travel card. So some of you might ask, why travel card? Because some majority of our destinations are open destinations, and some of our destinations, the reception or signal are of poor quality. That's why we opted to have, as you can see here, we have a travel pass for Calabarzon, wherein if you enter this system, you pre-register. It is this will ensure that you will visit all the destinations within the cluster seamlessly. So this will include contact tracing, and most importantly, on the part of the DOT, we can have an actual data or actual figure on how many visited the establishment or how many visited the destinations. This will also include contactless transactions for the tourism establishments that are within or participating in the Green Corridor Initiative. All will be paid through the system, the entrance fees, even the tour guides and the transport service. For example, you're going to one destination in the circuit. So you will just go to the system and you can pay in advance all entrance fees, or even in the restaurant. If you want to eat in the one restaurant, for example, in San Pablo, you can pre-order your meal on the system, and just you can pay it there, and you will arrive on the restaurant. You can eat. There is less contact with waiters, less contact with the cashiers. So after you eat, you can leave without any contact with the workers of the establishment. This will limit the contact between the guest and the establishment, as well as the community. So we also included here the Digipasalubong, wherein at the safety of your hotel, you can order your pasalubong. Alam naman natin, as Filipinos, when we travel, we love to get pasalubong for our families, for our friends, at saka sa ating mga relatives. So at the safety of your hotel room, you can order the pasalubong. You can just go, for example, you want slippers in Liliw. So you can go to the system, you can choose any design of slippers, and you can buy it there, and it will be delivered to you. So no use of going to the pasalubong center. It's one way of helping our partner establishments to market their products. So another feature of this card is the destination registration. So the destination will be registered by the LGUs. This is very important for monitoring, especially the health and safety protocols of the destination. If they're not following the protocols, they can easily be pwede silang tanggalin doon sa system. So hindi sila kasali kung hindi sila susunod sa health and safety protocols. Number two, this is very important then, because when certain LGUs or municipalities will request for funding, for example, in TESA, the requirements is you need to submit your statistics. But from here, you can go to the system, you can monitor, and right there and then, you will know ilan yung pumunta sa destination, viable ba na bigyan ito ng project, viable ba na bigyan ito ng assistance. And the part of the DOT, all LGUs that are within the Green Corridor Initiative, that are participating in the Green Corridor Initiative, they are the priority areas for promotion and printing of materials, ABP, and for media mileage. So with our partner also LGUs, this is from the grassroots, because all of the participating LGUs will have passed resolutions supporting and they will participate and no objection to the Green Corridor initiative. And this project is also self-liquidating. That's why this will ensure the sustainability of the program. Kahit po magpalit ng LCE, mayors or governors, nandito po kasi po ito po ay legislated on the municipal level, on the provincial level, and in the future po, this will be a House bill. This will be institutionalized to make sure that this is not only sustainable, this is resilient kahit po mga natural calamities. Katulad po, alam naman natin yung pagsabog ng Taal, di ba? And this will be inclusive. Why inclusive? We partnered po with our private sector. We have a strong partnership. Yung po ating mga travel agencies, alam ko po may mga travel agencies dito. Meron po tayong program with them, with the Green Corridor Initiative, na lahat po ng tour package nila within the Green Corridor Initiative, meron pong menu. So the tourist will only click the menu of the tours that they want. Automatically po, pupunta po yan sa tour operators. Automatically po yan, it will be connected with the destinations. So next slide, please. So this is our efforts that we did since last year. Ito po yung mga programs na ginawa na namin under the Green Corridor. Metro Tagaytay Tourism Circuit with Tagaytay City, Maragondon, Silang, and Alfonso. Next slide. So we already coordinated with the LGUs as early as December. Actually, we started this program po as early as August last year. Sige, next slide please. And for Laguna, we have San Pablo, Rizal, Nagcarlan, Liliu. This is just the first cluster po. In Laguna, for example, they have 6 clusters, around 24 destinations and LGUs that supported this project. Next slide please. Ito po yung ginawa namin with Laguna, all the coordinations, even with the congressman, the mayor, and the barangay, even the barangay consulted. Ito po yung ating mga partners na travel agents po pagdating sa Laguna. Ito po yung ating ginawang program for Laguna. Next slide, please. Yes. Ito na po with the secretary nung nilaunch po natin itong circuit ng Laguna. We are proud na pinuntahan po ito ng ating secretary. Sige, dire-diretso lang. Bayside Tourism Circuit of Batangas, nasa final stages na rin po ito ng development. Majority of all of the LGUs have passed the resolution supporting and they want to participate in this program. Sige, next slide. And for Rizal, we have the Faith, Food, Art, Adventure, and Nature Tourism Circuit, which includes the city of Antipolo, the municipality of Mangono, Taytay, and Cainta. Next slide, please. We already validated the circuit, and the secretary also attended the soft launch of this circuit. Next slide. And for Quezon, we have the Reina Tourism Circuit, the municipality of Real, Infanta, and General Nakar. We have already coordinated with the LGUs and validated the products. This is very important because as we pivot our programs to domestic tourism, we should be very inclusive. After developing our inter-provincial circuits, we are now pivoting towards developing a program with our neighboring regions. We have initiated this project together with the Nemeropa, National Capital Region, and Bicol. We have the Center of Fun, which stands for, the F stands for Faith, Food, and Farm under the new normal. That's the funder in the Center of Fun. So for Dive and Drive Tourism Circuit, this is, alam naman natin, one of the best dive sites, if not the best, is in Batangas. It's only a drive away from NCR. The bulk of our dive market. This is just the phase 1, and we are going to Quezon. Example, in Laguna, there are dive sites there, and in Polillo group of islands. And the third product is sail and stay. This tourism circuit will start in Batangas, going to Puerto Galera in Mindoro, and with the support of our decrease, ASEC Chris, we want to bring this to Palawan. And the last inter-region tourism circuit is the Seoul Circuit, which is a joint project between Region 3 with RD Carroll and NCR with RDRR. This will start in NCR, going to Corregidor, then going to Bataan. In this program, we want to educate our new generation of our rich history and culture. That's the flagship program of the Seoul Circuit. Next slide, please. This is our forecast for the tourism industry for the remainder of 2021 and into 2022. Development of tourism circuits bubble under the Green Corridor Initiative, which I discussed earlier, to slowly jumpstart of the economy and to restart tourism activities in the new normal. Shift focus to promoting domestic tourism as border closures and travel restrictions prevented tourists from venturing overseas. Stringent health protocols will continuously be followed at all tourism industry stakeholders and other sector players in order to open tourism. Opening tourism destination, attraction, and enterprises will be gradual, slowly but safely. Beyond the stimulation of domestic tourism, efforts have been made to digitalize the tourism industry. Sustainability is the new normal. With that, with the support of our private partners like the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, and with the support of the government sector, the LGUs, I'm confident that the Green Corridor Initiative of the Calabarzon region will succeed. Muli, salamat po at magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Michael Palispis.
Thank you, sir.
We are very excited about the Green Corridor Initiative. And we know that that's going to be a winner the moment it gets implemented. We're looking forward to all of that. And hopefully, again, all these quarantine restrictions will be lowered so everybody will be free to avail of it. Thank you very much. Let us now proceed for next speaker, who will be ASEC Christopher Morales, who is the Assistant Secretary for Regional Operations, Coordination, and Tourism Standards and Regulation for Region 4B, Nemeropa.
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the Tourism Congress of the Philippines for the conduct of this virtual Luzon Regional Consultative Meeting, headed by their President, Mr. Jojo Clemente, their officers and trustees and members of TCP. To Philippines Air Asia's Mr. Ricky Isla and Ms. June Kakam, to my colleagues and fellow Luzon regional directors of the Department of Tourism, our different stakeholders and guests, especially to our tourism stakeholders in the Nemeropa region. A pleasant day to all. As the region pursues the development of new products toward our tourism recovery, safety and security is always our priority. Thus, a strong DOT, local government units, private sector partnership is crucial for a safe, secure, and fun tourism restart during this so-called new normal. With this, allow me to present to you the updates on tourism reopening and the status of our financial assistance under the Bayanihan 2. We will also present the directions of the region through its plans and programs and other developments in the industry. Prior to the new quarantine status of NCR in the provinces of Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, and Rizal, or collectively known as NCR Plus, destinations such as El Nido and Coron and Busuanga in Palawan and Puerto Galera in Mindoro Oriental are open for domestic tourists. The ECQ and MECQ status of NCR Plus during the past weeks and increases in the COVID cases in Puerto Princesa City affected the impending opening of Puerto Princesa and San Vicente in Palawan to domestic tourists as well. The next slide indicates our direction and guide in assisting our LGUs in reopening our tourism destinations. This serves as our triage in determining or assessing how ready a certain LGU or tourist destination insofar as to opening to domestic tourists. We use a triage of capacity, support, and value in this aspect as guided by our National Domestic Tourism Task Force. In terms of capacity, this will focus on the compliance with the new normal safety and health protocols in all tourist industries. Likewise, the capacity of the health sector to respond and to manage cases and its capacity to test the locals as well as tourists will also be assessed. In terms of support, there should be an ordinance or an issuances by the LGU in terms of how to deal with the different requirements that they need, as well as their crisis management plan on how to handle positive cases. Third is, aside from these, the private sector and stakeholder partnerships will also be crucial in the support mechanism. The third one is the flexible booking arrangements by our tour operators and travel agency that will also provide a value for money package for our guests and tourists. So based on these three triage, we determine the readiness as well as the capacity of different LGUs and their destinations. So so far as the OT Nemeropa is concerned, what are the efforts being done by our office to help our LGUs in tourism reopening? First is we assist the different Nemeropa LGUs through the different coordination meetings with as well as inspections for the compliance of health and safety guidelines to tourism establishments and different attractions. We also conduct various webinars and trainings on this. The regional office continuously conduct monitoring and inspection of tourism enterprises to ensure the implementation of the OTDOH health and safety guidelines in the different establishment as well as in compliance to our accreditation requirements. Second is on product and market development initiatives. We have conducted product audit in Puerto Galera last December, and there will be upcoming audits in El Nido and Coron if it will be permitted based on the quarantine status of NCR Plus. The activity is being conducted with invited media, bloggers and vloggers, and or some tour operators through Piltowa to promote Nemeropa's destinations, tourist attractions, activities, and its products. Programs for inclusive growth and product development, such as farm tourism as well as peace village development on identified tourism areas in the region are also being pursued. Relative to the first two activities or strategies, we also conduct physical assessments and validation and product audits to ensure strict compliance to health and safety guidelines. Some of the best practices that we have identified or assessed during our different physical assessments include tourism sites in Coron, in Makinit Hot Springs, and in Coron, and its visitor and site in terms of visitor and site management. Very critical is the one entry one exit aspect, and as well as the implementation of schedule by batches to manage the influx of people. Second is the Infinity Paradise Resort in Puerto Galera. All emergency contact numbers are there, physical distancing, marketing, proper placement of IEC materials, as well as emergency provision of sanitation kits, separate trash bags, PPEs are well placed within the area. And third is the airport triage in El Nido, as well as in Busuanga Airport in Coron. For the fourth strategies or activities that we are doing is the intersectoral and interagency dialogues for our local tourism recovery. This is a collaborative effort by the different government agencies in providing assistance and alternative livelihoods for our affected tourism establishments. The DTI for livelihoods, as well as DOH on health management protocols, as well as the financial assistance program through grants of the DOT Dole Cash Assistance Program and the SOAP loans through the DTISB Corp. Continuous coordination as well with the LGUs on maintaining a safe but tourist-friendly border protocols to ensure a safe and fun adventures in Nemeropa has been done. Part of our product development efforts is the continuous development of domestic tourism through the improvement of intra and inter-regional circuits. Aside from the local focus of the different municipalities that are open, the DOT NCR and South Luzon regional offices of Calabarzon, Nemeropa, and Bicol are currently conceptualizing and developing tourism circuits with different themes, such as Food, Farm, and Faith, or dubbed as Center for Fun Tourism Circuit, and the dive circuits, the Drive and Dive circuit, and the Sail and Stay circuits to help revive the tourism industry through new offerings that we entice niche market. For the updates of our assistance for the our tourism workers and stakeholders and different tourism establishment and community-based tourism organizations through the Bayanihan 2-Act that was provided with financial fund of 6 billion for PTI SB Corp for soft loan program, as well as the DOT Dole Cash Assistance Program. The DOT Nemeropa had intensified campaign to encourage affected establishments, community-based organizations, and workers for the cash assistance program. And to date, we have, or as of April 21, 2021, a total of 51,394 workers from 2,995 establishments, organizations, and associations, as well as 1,561 tourism workers who applied individually, have been approved to receive financial assistance with a total of 264.77 million pesos. For the CARES program of DTI SB Corp, the program has already approved 47 applications with a total amount of 16.85 million. And out of these applications, 40 total applications were already released with a total amount of 12.9 million pesos. Next is the framework that we are using in order for us to bounce back and recover after this, during and after this pandemic. The National Tourism Development Plan's vision is to develop a globally competitive, environmentally sustainable, and socially responsible tourism industry. Likewise, in order to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19, the DOT crafted the Tourism Recovery and Rehabilitation Plan. Both plans are undergoing updating to be in sync with what the present and future scenarios will be. Guided by this National Development Trust, the DOT Nemeropa is mandated to spearhead the formulation of the Regional Tourism Development Plan, with its goal to be the destination of choice by 2026. Four strategic areas were identified in the Nemeropa Tourism Development Plan. First is the tourism products and manpower development to identify priority tourism products were related to the identified priority tourism products were related to farm tourism, to include culinary tourism, nature-based tourism, health and wellness, diving and marine sports, and lastly, the cultural tourism. Second, under the governance are the convergence programs of various agencies like the Balik Probinsya Program, the Joint Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, the Tourism Road Infrastructure Program, and the Infrastructure Program for Airport Development, or IDPAD. Under the promotion and marketing will be the travel bubbles or corridors, digital tourism, virtual tours, and application-based promotion. These are considered new normal ways of promoting our destinations. For the primary and support facilities and services development, this includes information and communications technology, which is very important now when almost all meetings, workshops are conducted online, as well as accessibility and connectivity, and of course, health and laboratory facilities will be kept in place. On the other hand, the Tourism Response and Recovery Plan was based on consultation with stakeholders via their national organizations, or on interagency discussions, or on review of existing national and international guidelines, as well as on focus group discussions with members of different tourism organizations. The TRRP's 4 teams were incorporated in our regional framework in the second outermost circle, and the areas and teams identified in the RTDP and the Tourism Recovery and Rehabilitation Program or Plan are expected to reflect the strategic objectives identified in our Regional Tourism Development Plan. We have 6 strategic objectives at the outermost boxes, which are: 1, the local communities participate significantly in the tourism value chain at the destination level to provide different livelihood opportunities for the local communities. Safety and security of tourists and communities prioritized. Extensive marketing of highly attractive and diversified Nemeropa thematic tourism destinations and products so as to have our niche market as well. A well-developed connectivity and destination infrastructure implemented and expanded. Of course, a strong public and private sector investment in tourism infrastructure and superstructures if needed. And lastly, to the Nemeropa to be recognized as a quality destination. Now, the succeeding slides will show the region's plans and activities for 2021 and divided into 4 major programs of the department. First is the tourism planning, second, industry training and program, standards development and enforcement program, and market and product development program. For tourism planning in 2021, we will continue to validate the readiness of the LGUs for reopening the tourism activities, strengthen the institutional capacity among the regional line agencies, LGUs, and private sector, and ensure successful partnership in the improvement of our policies and guidelines. Hopefully by this year or early next year, the ADB funded tourist project or the sustainable tourism development project will be funded and it will be implemented in El Nido and Coron in Palawan to improve the infrastructure capacities of these two destinations and of course improvement of our health and sanitation as well. Next is the management of the tour lista application to generate reliable tourism statistics data. This is a web-based hosting with capability of text alert. And lastly, the training and capacity building of our different LGUs and tourism-related enterprises to prepare and develop their public service continuity plan for continuous delivery of services during emergencies. In terms of industry training programs, we have lined up 49 training programs, mix of webinars and hybrid of webinars on online and face-to-face trainings. These include trainings on gender development, training for tour guides. Basically, we'll focus also on providing livelihood opportunities for our community, as well as to train them in dealing with tourists and individuals with special needs. Halal training, housekeeping, and front office training. This is an NC2 certified trainings. Tour package development to better equip our participants with the basic knowledge and skills relating to tour package development in order to promote effective leader destinations and as well as marketing strategies and costing for tours. A Korean foreign language will be one of the major training activity for this year. The Top Cup training for community order and protection. The food trends and sustainable menu design. This training aims to equip our participants with basic knowledge, skills relating to latest food trends and menu preparations that are attuned to the specific culture of destination, as well as promoting sustainable dining experience for our guests. Our bounce back marketing for tourism enterprises to help them develop a marketing plan that promotes establishments in these pandemic situations, and this will be included in our hybrid type of training. Likewise, there will be financial literacy and hotel operations 101 training, and of course, the farm tourism webinar to provide orientation to existing and prospective farm owners on the local tourism industry and its vast potential for agritourism as an added value product or activity for their farms. Protocol on social basis to help our different stakeholders with topics ranging from protocol, order of precedence, and event and conference hosting preparation. And of course, when proper etiquette when interacting with VIPs during event and hosting. And lastly, the reskilling for future green jobs. Likewise, in terms of standards development and enforcement, we will continue monitoring our tourism enterprises and provide mobile and express accreditation assistance to them. And of course, the annual Nemeropa tourism recognition and appreciation for our stakeholders and LGUs. Now, the last slide will focus on market and product development. These activities for 2021 include benchmarking activity and business matching and tourism travel fairs that will showcase tourism destinations, products, facilities, and services of the region to create network opportunities among DOT accredited tour operators in the region and through PILTOA, NITAS, and PTAA as an example to promote Nemeropa as our destination of choice. Also, the formulation of product development guidebook. This guidebook will help our LGUs on how they can develop their existing and potential sites and tourism products. Shall have the step-by-step method on developing their tourism products, checklist of infra and non-infra development needs that should be done in the areas, and where can they get assistance, among others. Assessment of our farm tourism sites. This will also be conducted. The development of the regional and interregional circuits, as I mentioned earlier. Benchmarking activities and tourism product audits to the validation of tourism attractions in the region. Promotional video and photo library of tourism products, including our narratives for promotion to international market as well. This will feature the top destinations in Nemeropa region to develop our promotional materials for marketing and branding. And of course, the development of tourism peace village in Mindoro Occidental to end the local communities armed conflicts by creating livelihood and empower the host communities to generate their income. As an ending, we hope that with these strategies and activities lined up for our Nemeropa stakeholders and LGUs, we can immediately bounce back and open our destination slowly with utmost safety and security in mind. With our strong partnership and collaboration, we can make our region safe, secure, and fun to visit. Naturally, Nemeropa is the destination of choice. Keep safe, everyone, and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Very much, Morales. You know, it's very interesting to find out promotional efforts of the Department of Tourism for that region, especially because the region includes one of the 7 wonders of nature, our pride and our joy, the PPUR, Puerto Princesa Underground River. And so now we go on to the next speaker, Ms. Fe Buela, who is the Officer in Charge, Regional Director for Region 5. Ms. Buela?
First, my respect to the President of the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, Mr. Jose Clemente III. Also, the Chief Executive Officer of Philippines Air Asia, Mr. Ricky Isla, and its Marketing Head, Ms. June Aleni Kakam. My colleagues from the Department of Tourism, DOT Assistant Secretary Chris Morales, the DOT Regional Directors and OICs in Luzon, our industry partners. I'd like to specially mention my fellow Bicolanos out there. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. But first of all, my appreciation to the Tourism Congress of the Philippines for this opportunity to share the updates on tourism in the region, our agency's intervention, and the ways forward as we push for tourism recovery in Bicol amidst the pandemic. With over a year in lockdown and community quarantine, the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic caused devastating impact to the entire tourism spectrum. In 2020, the region's visitors inflow dropped by 87% as a result of the travel ban, the closing of borders, restrictions on large gatherings, the face-to-face sessions, thus disrupted tourism operations, causing shutdown and temporary closure of businesses with thousands of workers displaced and lost their jobs. In recent weeks, DOH recorded a spike of COVID cases in the Bicol region, thereby placing some provinces under high risk and moderate risk. As shown in the summary of the level of risk to COVID-19, as of April 28, Bicol is generally under moderate risk, while specific provinces such as Albay, Camarines Norte, and Masbate are all in high risk, Camarines Sur and Sorsogon both in moderate risk, while Catanduanes is at low risk. To curb further the virus transmission, the BIETF imposed the closure of border at Santa Elena, Camarines Norte, and Del Gallego, Camarines Sur, particularly those coming from areas under NCR Plus and those in ECQ and MECQ. With the year named to revive tourism businesses and steer the local economy, number of destinations, sites, and attractions have already been opened. Not until after the Holy Week, the number of COVID cases in the region surged, which compelled some LGUs with previously open destinations to again close their doors to travelers, especially those under areas ECQ and MECQ. So for now, 90 to 95% are open to locals or residents of the province, while 75 to 80% open for domestic tourists, subject to compliance with the entry protocols. Next. So as part of the department's efforts in welcoming the safe and smooth return of the visitors, travel protocols enforced by the LGUs were consolidated, regularly updated, and posted on the DOT's website for the traveler's guidance and easy reference. So highlighted are the entry requirements, which are supported by LGU issuances, providing the policies and guidelines in the opening of sites and activities. So as shown in the screen, the RT-PCR or antigen negative test result taken 3 days before the travel are mandatory requirements of all the open destinations, while travel authority and medical certificates are only required in Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, and Naga City. For the visitors' registration and contact tracing system, LGUs utilize different digital apps, while some LGUs still adopt manual registration and contact tracing, as shown in the table. So other protocols include health screening and profiling, advanced accommodation booking at accredited hotels, also booking or travel arrangement with accredited travel and tour agencies, and copy of the itineraries. So to prepare the destinations and establishments for the safe reopening, we conducted various orientations and meetings for LGUs and private tourism stakeholders, particularly on the DOT issuances, providing for the health and safety guidelines and the operations of various tourism establishments. Also, the LGU's orientation on the health and safety guidelines in the operations of tourism attractions such as parks, natural sites, historical landmarks, and museums under the community quarantine and the new normal. Orientations also include the amended guidelines on the operations of travel agencies and tour operators, tour guides, MICE facilities, and organizers, to name a few. Other online consultations conducted were on tourism restart. This is to guide the LGUs on the safe reopening of the destinations, especially for the domestic tourists, and shared as well the criteria on assessing the destination's readiness to open, particularly held in Sorsogon, and was presented as well at the Bicol Regional Tourism Committee meeting. To encourage LGUs to implement a streamlined and unified travel protocol, DOST was invited in the Regional Tourism Consultation to present the Safe, Swift, and Smart Passage, or the S-Pass, and Stay Safe app, which is a travel information management system. This is for the tracing system to facilitate the ease, safe, and smooth travel entry to the destinations. Also, the inspection and monitoring of tourism establishments were also undertaken to ensure compliance on the DOT's acceptable standards and on health and safety guidelines. Copies of these DOT issuances were disseminated to LGUs and private tourism stakeholders and posted in our website for ready reference. In addition, we're also developing an inter-provincial and regional travel bubble that will offer a range of destinations and product offerings featuring fresh discoveries and enhanced sites and attractions, activities, and facilities that will provide a more rewarding and renewed visitors' experience under the new and better normal. So part of the tourism loop being created is the Center of Fun, FUN of which stands for Farm, Faith, Food under the new normal, which covers the select destinations and attractions of Camarines Sur, Albay, and Sorsogon. So this is actually a 4-night, 5-day tour package combining culinary, religious, and farm experiences. For travelers with limited time and budget, may opt to take Camarines Sur Albay or Albay Sorsogon package, which is a 2 nights, 3 days tour. Site assessment and validations were already conducted in said provinces to identify not only the new and enhanced destinations and attractions, but as well as the product offerings, and also, most importantly, the readiness under the new normal. So this circuit will also be expanded to South Luzon areas, which include the National Capital Region, Regions 4A and 4B, to promote the product offerings to wider travel market and benefit as well from the spillover of tourists from destinations in these adjacent regions. Under the same cluster, the region's major dive destinations will also be highlighted, particularly in Bicol, the Dive and Drive, which links Ticao Island of Masbate from Anilao, Batangas, and Puerto Galera. Well, Ticao Island of Masbate offers one of the best dive spots in the country with about 30 dive sites, the main of which is the Manta Ball, where divers can interact with the rare marine species like the manta rays, the hammerhead sharks, thresher sharks, tiger sharks, white tip sharks, and other pelagics. Series of workshops were undertaken to make this interregional tourism circuit not only materialize but become successful. For other options, visitors may also avail individual package of the regions, considering the length of time and the financial considerations. We will also introduce the spectacular islands and islets and other natural tourism treasures through the Island Adventure. This is under the tourism corridor of Calaguas, Caramoan, and Catanduanes. And for those with limited time and budget, they can opt to take a combination of the two or individual package. So validation of this is still underway. So this is actually just few of the number of tourism circuits being developed by the office. In partnership with the local government units, we will continue to explore our region's vast tourism resources to identify and develop viable and new products and enhancing the existing ones. These are centered on nature and outdoor non-contact activities like the bike tourism to offer diverse route and stunning sites like the mountain ride, seaside rides, scenic routes, and thus provide riders various experience options. In partnership with the City of Legazpi, we'll be working on the Uzgo sailing at Albay Gulf, fronting the Legazpi City Boulevard, which is a favorite place for people wanting to relax, stroll, and do some physical healthful activities. We also tap the potential of rivers through our Ilog Tourism Project, or the inclusive local growth through river tourism, which include the enhancement of Don Picasso or Don Sol, Pilar, Castilla, Sorsogon River experience, highlighting Ogod River's Firefly Watching Tour of Don Sol, Malbog River and Sea Sailing of Pilar, Pili-Dulangan River Tour in Castilla, and Sorsogon's Buhatan River Cruise. Capacity building were provided for its community-based tourism organizations and establishments of tourism facilities through the special projects, and just recently, we turned over to LGU Pilar some materials for the boat refurbishments. We're also partnering with ALBA-5 or Albay Bacon Farmers Incorporated, LGU Manito, and EDC Bacman for the development of Manito Mangrove River experience. We will also highlight the region's traditional and specialty cuisines through a Bicol culinary journey to complement the eco-cultural tour and for a more pleasurable experience. We will also continue to forge partnership with the travel trade buyers, particularly in destination marketing and tour package development, thus invitational and familiarization tours for travel agencies and tour operators will be hosted to provide first-hand information and online exposure on the destinations, attractions, and other product offerings under the tourism circuit developed. We also delve on digital marketing for Bicol to stay relevant and to sustain our online exposure by featuring the images and audiovisual productions of the destinations, our attractions, activities, facilities, events, health and safety guidelines, as well as other significant programs of the department through our various online media platforms. Linkages are likewise strengthened with the digital media influencer to intensify information and awareness on the destinations, product offerings, and our agency's interventions. Participation to travel and tourism fairs, either on-site or virtual, will also be pursued to heighten destinations awareness as well as introduce new discoveries. B2B will likewise be facilitated to allow local tour operators and other product suppliers to sell their packages, build new contacts, and meet existing buyers. Upskilling and retooling the industry's human capital are likewise in place through capacity building trainings, not only to enhance their knowledge and the quality of service delivery, but to better prepare them in the new global reality. So some of which are these trainings which are identified here. So I'll no longer elaborate on this. So these are just few of the number of training programs that are set. Some were already implemented and many more are set to be implemented within the year. Recognizing the vital role of the private sectors in tourism development, we shall create greater support and cooperation between the DOT and the industry partners in the region. In line with this, we shall be partnering with the tourism-oriented private stakeholders, or TAPs. This is in the joint Second TAPS Congress and 15th Bicol Regional Tourism Summit. This is a follow-through of the first TAPS Summit, which we conducted last year. So TAPS is a DOT organized group from regional to provincial level, represented by various tourism-related sectors, from accommodation, travel and tours, tour guides, transportation, dining, farm tourism operators, to name a few. Other upcoming shared undertakings with TAPS are the virtual tour and Peña Francia celebration participation and the 2021 Annual Conference of Bicol Association of Tourism and Hospitality Educators. So this is also part of strengthening our partnership with the academy. Also assisted is the Regional Tour Guides Association in their familiarization tour in Albay and Sorsogon to keep them updated and better informed of the new sites, attractions, facilities, and product offerings for a more effective flighting. We also partnered with Home Boat Builders Yacht Club on their Uzbu Sailing Clinic as part of the plan to hold sailing activity along the Albay Gulf and the possibility of holding the Uzbu's National Championship Regatta in Legazpi. In support of the displaced tourism workers, the office facilitated the availment of financial assistance for these affected employees from tourism-related establishments, the community-based tourism organizations, and tour guides, as well as the tourism support services from transportation, dining, and other support service providers. For Region 5, we have a total allocation of 82,409,721. This is for 16,482 target workers. As of April 28, DOT5 issued 850 endorsements covering 14,838 individuals. This is for the individual workers, while corresponding cost is 74,190,000. Of this DOT endorsement, DOLE already paid out 42,760,000, or 52% of the total allocation for 8,552 workers, while 19,410,000, or 24% of the budget is for disbursement for the 3,882 workers. For now, DOLE is awaiting for the release of 20 million or 24% of the remaining allocation for the region to cover the 4,000 pending applications and for processing. Aligned with the National Tourism Development Plan's strategy of developing access and connectivity, the DOT DPWH, through the Tourism Road Infrastructure Program, paved the way not only in providing convenient, safe, and seamless travel of tourists to the destinations, but likewise opened the doors for the introduction of new attractions and establishment of tourism-related facilities, thus provided economic opportunities in the locality. So for 2021, Region 5 has total of 37 funded tourism road projects with a total cost of 1,120,632, 4 of which are implemented by the regional office, DPWH. 3 of these are ongoing, 1 is not yet started, while 33 are under the district engineering offices, 21 of which are ongoing, 11 not yet started, and 9 projects suspended. So as we further prepare the region for the resurgence of tourism, we will focus on strengthening our ties with relevant line agencies, the local government units, and the private sectors to complement our efforts and create synergy in accelerating regional economic development with tourism as the driving force. So these include our continued partnership with DPWH for the Tourism Road Infrastructure Program, which include identification, evaluation, and prioritization of proposed road projects towards improvement, particularly the construction and rehabilitation of the road networks to and from the sites, service centers, and the gateway. We're also looking into the DPWH's implementation of the QBEX, or the Quezon-Bicol Expressway, which will connect Bicol, particularly San Fernando Camarines Sur, from Pagbilao, Quezon. So the QBEX will actually provide safe and direct route to Bicol provinces, thus reduce the travel time from the usual 10 hours to 6 hours. So the realization of this project will create movement of people and visitors to and from the region, given the time and cost-efficient travel. We'll also continue to strengthen our partnership with DENR to intensify campaign on the environmental conservation and protection and implementation of sustainable tourism management practices, especially in destination areas. Also with DTI for promotion of tourism trade and investment, with DOLE for livelihood projects for host destination communities, with Department of Agriculture for farm tourism development, and of course for continuing partnership with tourism-oriented stakeholders, especially with TAPS, this is an DOT-organized association to improve the services and facilities as part of the efforts in promoting global competitiveness. Also, the DOT-led Bicol Regional Tourism Committee, which is a multi-sectoral cooperation which provides policy direction and coordinated actions among the member agencies through its combined efforts and resources. We'll also be updating the Regional Tourism Development Plan, which shall integrate strategies that will provide the roadmap for resiliency, inclusivity, and sustainable tourism development. So this will involve participation of the concerned line agencies, LGUs, and the private stakeholders through consultations, meetings, focus group discussions, and site assessment, as well as other activities to gather their inputs, strengthen interactive and collaborative work among the stakeholders to achieve common and mutually beneficial goals. So the plan will be aligned with the new administration's development agenda. So after the plan formulation, of course, we'll be rolling out the Regional Tourism Development Plan to LGUs for alignment with their local plans. So as part of our advocacy on sustainable tourism, we are into development of community-based tourism as among our priorities to involve the informal sectors like the fisher folks, the farmers group, the women's sector, the out-of-school youth in harnessing their tourism resources and create productive activities that will provide them livelihood and income opportunities as well as transform them into responsible stewards of their tourism assets. Implementation of disaster risk reduction management will also be given focus to increase resiliency on various natural hazards, impact of climate change, man-made disasters, and health crises like this pandemic. Training workshop on carrying capacity will also be conducted in partnership with DNR to determine the allowable number of visitors and human activities in sites and attractions. Formulation of site management plan for the LGUs and community-based tourism organizations and other destination managers to maintain and ensure the future of the sites and destinations through responsible practices to guarantee environmental sound management. LGUs will also be encouraged to institute administrative reforms, legislate laws, and craft ordinances that will provide policies for environmental conservation and protection, like the anti-plastic campaign, the anti-illegal fishing, anti-illegal logging, use of renewable energy, to name a few. In preparation for the operationalization of the Bicol International Airport, we shall continue to work and encourage LGUs in the development enhancement of sites, attractions, and product offerings to provide more options that will suit the visitor's preference and interest. These include nature tourism products, sports and adventure, as well as culture and heritage tourism. And as part of cultural preservation, we shall revive our colorful Pastores People, a religious Christmas presentation featuring the region's age-old tradition, depicting the rejoicing shepherds of Bethlehem who sang the first Christmas carol during the birth of baby Jesus. This is actually an annual activity of the DOT, but was temporarily suspended in these past 2 years. So we shall also reactivate the Student Tourism Ambassadors in Region 5, or the STAR 5, to encourage greater involvement and participation of tourism students from colleges, universities, and other schools in Bicol offering tourism-related courses. So this program involves volunteerism, OJT program, tourism-related seminars, to name a few. So all these are part of the department's efforts to reactivate tourism in the Bicol region. So again, thank you very much for this opportunity, and magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much, and mabuhay.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now proceed to our last speaker for today, Mr. Joseph Francisco Ortega of the Department of Tourism, Region 1.
Hello, good afternoon to everybody, especially to our partners in the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, represented by someone who is also dear to my family, Sir Jojo Clemente. Of course, Sir Bob, thank you also for the kind introduction, and to my fellow RDs who are also here today to present what we have at the Department of Tourism, so that we can slowly, surely, and responsibly restart tourism as per our dear Secretary, Honorable Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyen. Again, I would like to also greet our private stakeholders. I think hindi lang po sa Region 1, but we also have as far as Mindanao and Visayas. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. I got the chance to, in fact, work with the OIC RD Febuela in Region 5. Shinare po namin yung best practices namin sa Bicol region, and we can't wait to share a presentation for you today. We have, sana po, maengganyo po kayo sa mga videos na i-share namin today and the current status of our region, as well as our recovery plans for this year and 2022. Yes, good afternoon. I would like to report first, since we are still having technical difficulties with our video, I would like to report on the update on the destination readiness of Region 1. Next slide, please. So to start off, our four provinces, the provinces of Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, and Pangasinan were generally under MGCQ until such time that some cases have risen specifically in La Union and Ilocos Sur. So right now, La Union is not allowing travel for tourism and leisure until such time that the provincial government assesses the lower in the spike of cases. Specifically speaking, Bawang, the towns of Bawang, Luna, Bangar, Agoo, Aringay, Tubao, Nagilian, and San Fernando City are on localized lockdowns. For Ilocos Sur, we have the towns of Candon City, Kawayan, Salcedo, Santa Cruz, and Suyo under MECQ until May 5th. For Ilocos Norte and Pangasinan, they're actually open to tourists from MGCQ areas except for NCR plus cities and municipalities, subject to the changes of the national IETF. Currently, if you're looking at the requirements, for Ilocos Norte, Sur, and La Union, they require testing. For the town of Pangasinan, for the province of Pangasinan, the governor referred to the local LGUs whether they want to require test before travel or not. You may refer, we will give you a link later on for this presentation so that you can have a copy of this as well. Next, please. So to start off, I just wanted to share that based on the previous visits of the Secretary in Region 1, we were able to map out several mappings or requirements in our border entry so that we can assess whether we can create a green lane for tourism purposes due to the surge of border buildup by uppers and LSIs. So in efforts to address this problem, starting with the province of Ilocos Norte, we have identified a visitor center that is a triage system for tourists specifically, 5 minutes away from the border, separate from the upper and LSI section at the Badok Gateway. So this is a basic map of what you will see on the ground when you enter Ilocos Norte. Next, please. So just to show you what losses we have basically experienced in 2020 because of the pandemic. Initially, in the year 2019, for the provinces of Ilocos Norte, Sur, La Union, and Pangasinan combined, we had about 2.4 million people. Based on that, our projection for 2020 was 2.9 million. With the projected total receipts of amounting to 4.4 billion pesos. So it's unfortunate that even until now we're on lockdown. So we saw the very steep decline in numbers. So if you have a projection of 2.9 million visitors for 2020, the actual arrivals for last year was only 190,000 individuals. With the total revenue of actually 293 million pesos compared to the 4.4 billion pesos projected income. So the total foregone income for 2020 was actually 4.1 billion pesos in losses, which is very, very big. Next slide, please. So what have been our efforts to address the situation? We have heard, the Secretary has heard of all the different comments of our stakeholders. This includes, of course, you will see the Bayanihan to Assistance Fund, where we were able to get 3 billion pesos in funding for displaced tourism workers. We were also able to get and fight for the 6 billion Cares for Travel, which unfortunately in this time, we have been having a hard time selling it to everybody because we understand the uncertainty that we are in right now. But just to share the positivity that we've had engaged in our area, we established the first travel corridor in the country. And this is between Region 1 and Baguio City, with the efforts of the Secretary. Actually, it was Secretary Berna who had told us to invite the 4 governors of Region 1 to come up and have an exploratory MOU signing with Mayor Benji Magalong so that we can find a way to make a travel corridor work. Because when you say travel bubble, there are still some hindrances because of perhaps airline travel or perhaps the cost of travel when they go. So a lot of people, 81% according to DOT's stats was that 81% prefer land travel. Anyway, this has been a symbol of our start, and we are very happy to share with you that this has been very fruitful for us in the smallest ways. Next, please. And some of the activities that we've had actually born out of the activities of the business to business and the business to consumer activities, wherein the secretary had arranged for the validation of different tourist attractions in all the provinces of Region 1, which she had visited personally. She also opened the Travel Expo, which is the travel to consumer stalls, no, for per province when we opened the province officially last year in October. And basically, this was repeated in all 4 provinces. We also had the B2B, where when we went to Baguio, we brought all the tour and travel operators of Region 1, and they had a sit down with the tour and travel operators of the Cordillera, and they had an exchange of packages. And in this experience, they were able to learn that you cannot make packages anymore similarly to what was pre-pandemic. And in the new normal, there are definitely so many things that have been added in terms of costing, capital expense and requirements, etc., including expenditures for health and safety protocols. So this is definitely something they had to agree with and discuss personally so that their prices will not be affected. Next slide, please. For the phase 2, so we started the opening of the Ridge and Reef Travel Corridor in Ilocos Norte for our phase 2. We went down to the province of Ilocos Sur with Governor Ryan Singson. He took us around the cultural and heritage sites of Vigan, and he was able to basically convince our establishments and people from the province of Ilocos Sur to slowly open and restart tourism in his area. Ngayon po kasi medyo nagkaroon lang po ng surge in cases. That's why the governor had recently closed the province again. But I think starting May 1, we will see again a slow opening, but sure opening of the province of Ilocos Sur. Next slide, please. As you can see, the slides here are also our efforts in the DOT regional office as well as the central office to show our efforts of what we have been doing despite of tourism being the hardest hit in our country. So you will see here that we started with DOT opening the travel corridor concept with Baguio City, especially from guests from Luzon. We also welcome the opening of Ilocos Norte, which is a very, very big step to the entire island of Luzon, because in essence, earlier in the pandemic, provinces were very, very strict when it comes to letting people in the province, especially those coming from GCQ areas. And of course, for Ilocos Sur, we started opening it in November 15. Next, please. Alongside this, sorry, I think medyo nagkakagalo lang sa slides, but these are more photos of our business to business in Baguio. Anyway, alongside this, we also created a rebranding of Region 1, where I think they just changed lang yung slides, where we created the branding Find the One in Region 1. So if you don't see it in the slide, you might see it in my background. It's actually Find the One in Region 1. And you know, when we thought of this branding, you know, we thought, how can we really, you know, hit the heart of those people who we have lost touch with? Because in essence, we have lost that type of market because either one, they've lost their spending rights, or they would just rather do away with it because it's super expensive or it's hard to get to. So in this manner, what we wanted to do was to try to get people in touch with the reparation of their health and wellness or their mental health. And that's why we thought of Find the One in Region 1, because we wanted to apply to everybody that you can find anything. You can find the one in Region 1. It can be the Find the One place, find the one food, find the one hotel, find the one journey, find the one experience, or find the one you love. And that is why we thought of that. And you will be able to see that in all the different places in our region. Next slide, please. Next, please. So these are more photos. Okay. So I think this is the culmination of our, I think a lot of questions that we've seen in the chat group was, how do we apply for the travel pass? We saw a while ago RD Mike's efforts to present their green corridor, which is very similar to what other regional directors have been doing. And for Region 1, we have stuck with the Region 1 Visita system, and we have introduced this as Tarana. And you may log into tarana.ph to look for more info on this, but I will quickly show you what this system can do. Next slide, please. So this is a digital system, travel request system, where people can. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is basically the interface of the system of Tarana, and essentially what we wanted to do was to unify all the border controls of Region 1. And that being said, all the 4 governors had actually agreed and signed in their executive ordinances the use of this Tarana system to be the sole system used for tourism purposes. Now, if you are a user and you want to go into Region 1, all you need to do is register, and you will be given a valid QR code that will be unique to you and which you will use to apply for travel passes. We will have a video here that we will show you later on, and we will copy furnish the Tourism Congress of the Philippines for your reference. Next slide, please. So for the user roles, we have 4 avenues for this application. We have a management application for tour operators. So if you're a tour operator, a DOT accredited tour operator, you can apply for a user role here. And what you can do is basically you will be accepted, like what RD Mike Palispis had mentioned in Region 4A. You will be included in one of the selections of tour and travel agencies in which the user can book their travel requirements with. You also have the end user, which are the travelers, and of course you have the administrators, which will be approved by the provincial tourism offices and the municipal tourism officers, and of course the checkpoint marshals in the borders. Next, please. So for more info, we would love to share with you all the things that we have been doing. And if you would like to get into Tarana, which is getting into Region 1, you log on to the website https://region1.tarana.ph. Next slide, please. And this is how it looks on the phone as well. Next slide, please. So right now, just to share with you, we have a limited carrying capacity of 1,000 people for the province of Pangasinan. Well, actually, it's open, no? But for Alaminos, their target is 1,000, and it's the most number of allowed tourists in one municipality in the province. For La Union, for the entirety of the province, they're only allowing 700. For Ilocos Sur, we only have 200, and for Ilocos Norte, there is no limit. Next, please. As you can see, the use of the number of users of Tarana have increased. We can see that we have a total of 5,627 users only as of April 9, and we have only established this in the last month. And we've seen a spike of users actually coming from Region 3. So lahat po ng mga namang problema na businesses sa Region 1, actually, lahat ng yung market po na nanggagaling sa NCR Plus, one way to really spread the market is to focus on other regions which are more accessible via land. So in terms of Region 1 po, we have Region 3, Region 2, and the Cordillera to get visitors from. So if you see the chart here po, we have about at least 2,300 people coming from Region 3. Next slide, please. So, previous slide, please. So if you look at this table, in the last two months po natin, ito po yung number of approved in Region 1 travel requests. So we have 909 for a total of 218 rejected, 415 in progress, expired 188 for a total of 1,730 applications through the Tarana system. Next slide, please. And if you can see po, karamihan po ng mga requests nanggagaling po talaga sa Metro Manila at 409. Next na po yung Region 3, which is 293 in Pampanga, and Cordillera, which is 248. Yun nga po, I think this is a very important statistic because we need to know po na we are really affected because of the closure of the NCR Plus bubble. However, this calls for concern because we need to really focus our efforts into inviting other visitors from different areas because we understand also on the health side that kailangan din po rin natin talaga mag-lockdown because of the surge of cases in Metro Manila. Next slide, please. So for our projects, I wanted to share in our region, in our regional office po, we have our continuing projects. Mainly ang focusing po namin dito, something to take notice po is under tourism industry training, which is the seminar on the protection, maintenance, and tour package development of cultural and heritage sites in Region 1. Since everything is closed po, this is the best time for us, for our office, to have created an inventory of what we really have so that we can create a story, so that we can create a regional package and invite more people to stay longer in our region versus staying in just one area. Next slide, please. So for product development, something that I wanted to share with you that is ongoing for the provinces of La Union and Pangasinan. For the La Union province, we are developing right now eco and nature trails. So as of the moment po, we have been going in the district, the second district, considerably in the town of Agoo, La Union. We have been walking up the mountains actually to look at what is ready for hiking and ecotourism. Meron din po kami sa first district in the town of San Gabriel, where Tangadan Falls is located. Gumagawa din po kami ng night trails, or it's a product offering for night. Kasi po every full moon, there is a full moon month every month, and meron po mga species of flora and fauna that's endemic for sa gabi po. So we are trying to create that market so that we can expand the visitor base of those who will go to our province of La Union. For Pangasinan naman po, we are developing the central, western, and eastern circuits so that we can basically make use of the 12 million annual visitors of Our Lady of Manawag. Personally, I'm a Marian devotee, specifically to Our Lady of Manawag, and ang akin lang po is the reason why we're developing that is lahat po ng dinadala ng Lady of Manawag pwede pong makatulong doon sa mga neighboring provinces such as San Fabian, in different towns like Bolinao in Western Pangasinan, where people can relax after they visit their pilgrimage sites. For the Ilocos Norte naman po, for the province of Ilocos Norte, we are developing a bird-watching tourism circuit. It's not capital intensive. We have a past market of Japanese, Korean, Taiwanese tourists coming in, complementing it with their golf activities and ESL activities as well. So with the efforts of the secretary, ang sinasabi niya po, sana we can open our provinces to travel bubbles, because this way, if we are able to get high net worth individuals with low numbers of volume, it's safer for us, and at the same time we still get the revenues that we have been looking from the NCR Plus market. For Ilocos Sur naman po, we have a package of destination management and repackaging the development for key tourism areas, mainly the towns nearby Vigan, because people like to go to Vigan but they don't know where else to go in Ilocos Sur. So ang ginawa po namin is we connected po different ecotourism sites like the Pinsal Falls, which is part of our projects for the Sustainable Development Goals. Meron din po kaming mga farm tourism where we have the Pinakpet Farm, na pag pumunta po kayo doon, yung farm ninyo andun po sa tabi lang ng kakainan nyo, and the things that you will be served will be coming from the farm that's beside you. So it's very, very impressive. Of course, for the regional product update, we are creating the data bank of Region 1 tourism products so that we can better disseminate the information or the availability and the tourism readiness of these destinations to our stakeholders as well as the viewers here today. Inclusive of that, for the region, we are working alongside Region 3, RD Carol, OIC Fanibeth in Region 2, and RD Jovi in Cordilleras to come up with the development of a World War II historical and cultural trail. Alam naman po natin na marami pong mga estudyante na nasa bahay lang po, yung mga magulang nila, they're trying to work hard, doing work from home. So there's really no consistent type of education for people. So ang naisip po namin, if we come up with historical and cultural trails where it's outdoor, families can take their kids for some outdoor education and to learn about our history. Maganda po ito kasi na-address niyo po yung concern ng educational needs ng mga tao, yung mental health needs po ng mga tao to go out, and of course yung health and wellness po nila that you should be outdoor, not indoor, because alam naman po natin that if you stay indoors, mas prone ka po sa sakit ng COVID. Meron din po tayong development of the Regional Pilgrimage Trail na I'm a big devotee po. We are trying to get all the Minore Basilicas located in Region 1, and we have created a general mapping of what pilgrimage or pilgrims rather can visit in our region. Meron din po kami, as you have seen in the past projects of our other regional directors, we have a Find the One bike tour. Karamihan po, I'm not sure kung marami po sa atin dito ang nagbabike, but sa mga probinsya po namin, halos lahat po, mahirap mayaman, meron na pong bike. And that's why what we wanted to do was to map out all the bike circuits in all the provinces. And what we have identified so far was we created one central jump-off point per province. So ang ginawa po namin, ang central jump-off point po namin in Pangasinan is Central Pangasinan, in the town of San Fabian, where we have the bikers then. That lahat po ng mga bikers from Region 3 and Region 1, dyan po nagko-congregate, and from there they go to different towns in Pangasinan. For La Union naman po, we have San Fernando City. For Ilocos Sur, we have Vigan, and for Ilocos Norte, we have Paway, around the Paway Lake. So we are looking into creating a project of having a Tour de Ilocos, Find the One bike tour, perhaps this June, if pwede na pong gumawa ng event. Alongside that, with the same budget, we are also supporting Motorismo, where we are partnering with the SMC Infra, BMW Motorrad, of course, the different bike companies, to bring all of their bikers from Metro Manila Region 3 to go on a regional loop in our region in the Ilocos. Of course, next please. Of course, ito pong sa tourism industry training din natin, ayaw din po nating pabayaan. One of the things that we wanted to push for, lalo na po na I am part of the new generation, I wanted to include po in my projects the Caravan on Climate Change and Adaptation and Mitigation. So this is something that will push for the integration po of sustainable tourism and environment protection in our tourism development. Clearly, hindi lang po pandemic ang kalaban natin. We still have climate change, and as part of the young generation, I still want to bring that awareness to our stakeholders, lalo na po sa mga coastal communities that depend their livelihood with tourism, lalo na po sa mga how you build your infrastructure in terms of building against the salvage zone, maintaining the use of reuse, reduce, and recycle in all your establishments. This is something that we are very serious about in our region, and we are very happy that our regional stakeholders are doing the same as well. Of course, for market and product development, you'll see on the right, we also are allocating budget for the reactivation of major gateways and cruise tourism seaports. Sa region po namin, meron po kaming isang international airport that is night-rated, the Lawag International Airport. We are working very well with Governor Matt Manotoc. He's very much keen even on opening travel between Japan, Taiwan, and different travel island destinations that can have a direct travel to Lawag. And we're really working hard po. Sana ang AirAsia po is also here. Baka there's something we can work on with regards to this one. Next slide, please. Okay, I know there's a lot of information overload po. So for more information or inquiries or questions, please don't hesitate to email us at dot1@tourism.gov.ph or call us at 072-888-2098. Sa akin lang po, ang message ko sa lahat is that keep the faith, the hope, and the love. Keep the faith in the Lord that He will not give us something that we cannot take. keep the love for your neighbors around you, because especially those mga frontliners po natin that need all the support, moral support in this time. And of course, keep the hope that tourism will rise again. Again, agyaman ng apo, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Sir Jojo for Tourism Congress of the Philippines, thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ortega. I'm sorry that we had technical difficulties with your video. Let us now proceed to the next part of the program. But before that, let me thank one more time our sponsor for today, the Philippine Air Asia, and our partners, the Department of Tourism. So now we proceed to the synthesis, summary of issues, or concerns, or recommendations, open forum that will be proctored by Mr. Albert Banag, our Vice President for Luzon.
Thank you, Bob, and good afternoon to everyone. Well, from the presentation of Philippine Air Asia and the different regions, it is encouraging that tourism in Luzon is alive. Buhay na buhay po ang turismo sa Luzon and on the path to a big rebound. Well, before we move on to the question and answer portion, just allow me to share just one slide on the recent development for in NCR. Can we show the slide? Yes, this circular Department of Tourism issued earlier this afternoon. Well, regarding quarantine and regular hotels now allowed to operate their F&B, 50% capacity for alfresco outdoor dining, and 10% venue capacity for indoor dining. So, well, in the efforts of government to revitalize the economy, I think this is a major development. So for other establishments, I suggest we can visit the website of DTI because there are a lot of establishments now allowed to operate. Okay, for our Q&A, what is our, do we have our first question?
Albert, before anything else, no, we mentioned earlier about the SB Corp. We had a meeting with the Small Business Corporation about a couple of weeks ago, and we explained to them that there are some difficulties with regard to that have been expressed to us by the stakeholders with regard to borrowing funds for the business. And among these things that were discussed was the, I think the main concern was our stakeholders are unsure as to whether they will have the means to repay the loans if given to them. Kaya hindi na nag-a-apply. What we discussed to them, and the SB Corp was amenable, was they will probably extend the grace period for companies to repay. No? We are just waiting for the exact provisions of that because it was still subject to board approval. But we were promised by the SB Corp that they will have an answer to us probably by next week. We will follow up. Secondly, they will be allowing for, or they have recommended to the board that those who have already received can go for another round of loans, subject to, which will be focused more on employment and employee retention. So from what was mentioned during the meeting, it will involve probably something like salary subsidy for staff that you mean to retain while we wait for tourism to restart. And finally, we also discussed whether the proceeds, no, let's say your loan is approved, whether it has to go directly into your business. They did mention that you're free to use it if you have a side business that keeps you that gives you revenue at the meantime. I think their concern is only that you'll be able to repay the loan once it is due. So we will continue to update stakeholders on this. By next week, we will probably have news. We want to encourage our stakeholders to take advantage of this. As of now, this is the aid that can be given to us by the government, no? And this is what we lobbied heavily for during the hearing with Bayanihan too. Should you have any more questions about it, well, you can do it on the chat box, or you can also get in touch with us through our Facebook page message section. We'd be more than happy to answer questions on it. So, yun lang, no? If anyone has any questions about that, we can answer now offline, or you can bring it up. Thank you. Albert, please.
Yes, thank you for that. So, yun, reminding everyone, I think the loan, the minimum loan one can get is about 600,000 for small, and up to about 5 million for medium-sized enterprise. So, well, that's the best avenue to, if you're in need of capital to revitalize your business. Okay, moving forward, our first question. Hi, Miss Eileen. How about the travel agents? Are there some bonds still required? I think it's for Aleni. I think it's for Air Asia. Do we still have Aleni on board or in-house?
I think we'll just have to pass it on to Air Asia.
Okay.
Oh,
question number 2 is, when is the effectivity for travel and tours to operate fully? Well, in terms of, I would say for travel and tours, we need to be on the new normal side. So once all business sectors are fully open, so I guess, well, each sectors or each province, each region can really promote their tourism, their travel packages, especially here in NCR. As for the foreign travelers, that has to be aligned with what the government is, the government's requirement of inbound travel. So you may want to add something, Jojo.
That will really depend on how we control the current situation with regard to the pandemic. I think we're all resolved that we really cannot talk about broad reopening until such time that a significant number of our population or even the workers in our industry are vaccinated. We have been in discussion with the DOT, with the secretary, to allow first, if possible, the vaccinated, those that have already full doses of their vaccine to be allowed to enter the country. But it's not as simple as that, because on our side, we also need to be vaccinated, or at least our frontliners, because even if you are vaccinated, you can still be a potential carrier. So even if you are fully vaccinated, but your counterpart in another country is not, and you visit, you still carry the risk of infecting the people in that area. So what we are talking about now, and what the DOT has actually done, is to raise the priority of tourism frontliners. Dati mas mababa tayo. Now we are classified as A4, which means you have a higher priority. I think the concern now is the supply of the vaccine. I think that's the question. And behind the scenes, earlier today, I was asking some of the regional directors how the vaccine rollout has been going on in their respective jurisdictions. And I think for most, I think most are still on A1 or A2. So we still have a little bit more to go. But until the question of supply of the vaccine is to our satisfaction, it will still take some time. When I'm asked that question by stakeholders and the media, my answer is always, well, number one, again, depends on the rollout. And if we're looking at the timeline, maybe the earliest to allow vaccinated tourists in would be towards late third quarter, early fourth quarter at the latest. So don't hold me to that, but that's my prediction, no? The way things are going now. So hopefully we can get more vaccines to enter the Philippines.
The president and the vice president saying that they.
Okay.
Thank you, Jojo. We have a question for Region 4A. How do we get the travel card?
Hi, hello. Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for the question. Actually, the travel card, it can be availed by all the partner establishments, the LGUs, and the partner tour operators. So once na ma-launch namin yung program, we will start yung procedure kung paano ma-avail itong program na to. Kasi ang dami ng nagtatanong, pwede bang bili ng bulk, pwede bang family card or the like. So when we launch it, siguro we'll inform everyone kung paano. So just wait for the launching. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, to the regional directors, there's a question. How do you plan to make sure that the benefit of the travel bubbles become inclusive from the travel agencies, tour operators, accommodation, and tour guides? So anybody want to answer?
If I may, ako na rin yung dito. Yes, so yes, precisely when we consulted with the travel operators, pinakinggan namin yung side nila, ano ba yung problema, ano ba yung pwede natin gawing solusyon. Kasi for the longest time, they're telling us that they are very affected by the DIY organizers. So that's why when we did the travel card for Calabarzon, if you are not a partner tour operator or you are not an accredited operator, you cannot enter the destinations. Ito po ay gagawing ordinansa ng mga LGUs na partner namin. Okay, that's why it's important the very close coordination with our partners in the private sector. For example, yun ang sa Tagaytay, di ba ngayon yung Airbnb, bawal na. Kasi when we talk with them, and it's affecting the regular businesses na nagbabayad ng tax, nagbabayad ng accreditation. So, yun, isa sa mga epekto ng close partnership. Ganon din yung ginagawa namin ngayon sa mga travel operators. If you are not an accredited or partner tour operator, you cannot enter the destination. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Well, from Isa Elipanyo, is there an e-certificate after this seminar? I think wala po tayong certificate issued. No? Walang credits. Well, okay.
Albert, by the way, before anything else, so sorry. I would just like to thank our regional director for attending today's consultative meeting. It's very rare to have all of you together in one place na talagang lahat ng RD yung pumunta. So we're very happy and we're really happy to hear your plans. Is here also with you on those, and if we can also possibly request for your slides so that we can also disseminate it to our members, no, all to the other regions. I'm sure they're also interested to find out what's going on in your regions. So maraming salamat po sa inyo for taking the time. It's been a long afternoon, but we really sincerely appreciate your inputs for this meeting. Thank you.
I think we've answered most of the questions here. So did I miss any unanswered question or?
Our friends from media would want to ask something. Yes. Was that RD Jeff? Yes.
Yes po,
RD Jeff.
sir. Yes po, I would just like to, sir, validate as well yung sinabi ni RD Mike, the creation of our Visita system, similarly in Baguio. That is something that we kind of perfected in the region because we're actually the first region that has only one system for tourists. And this is all already in the ordinances of the 4 provinces. So parang ang sa amin po, we support what RD Mike had mentioned, that the system was really actually created to help our local tour and travel operators that are from the region. So if you were to request for a travel pass through our system, only DOT accredited tour and travel operators will be allowed to show their packages or be included in the system, as well as DOT accredited establishments, van for hire, and so on and so forth. So this is definitely one way for us to control the OTEs. As I know po, sa inyo pong sa mga tour and travel operators, more than 10 years na po itong problema. So yun lang po sa amin for Region 1. Salamat po.
Thank you, RD Ortega. Well, Bob has a question to RD of Region 3. When will the Seoul circuit be available? We have RD of Region 3 still in house.
Sir Albert?
Yes?
RD Uy already left.
Okay.
Okay, next time.
Next time. So I think
Yes, that's it.
anybody from the group have something to raise or clarifications? So going once.
Give the final remarks.
Okay, going twice. So anyway, in closing, we just want to say thank you, especially to our sponsor, Philippine Air Asia, Ricky Isla and Aleni, to our regional directors, Jovi Ganonan of CAR, Panibet Domingo, Region 2, Director Carol Uy, Central Luzon, Director Febuela, Region 5, ASEC Christopher Morales of Region 4B, Director Michael Palispis of Region 4A, and Director Joseph Ortega of Region 1. So maraming pong salamat at palakpakan naman po natin sila.
Virtual applause for everybody.
Wala bang malakas na palakpak dyan? Mission control.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And well,
thank you.
Hopefully, magpa-vaccine na tayo.
Yes, please.
Maraming salamat din po.
Salamat, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Have a good weekend. Continue to pray for our recovery. Thank you.
Thank you po. Good afternoon.
Bless po. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again, RDs. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay po, may we have one last photo for everyone? Just one quick.
Photo op pa.
Natin ang photo op.
Okay, we're asking everyone to open your cameras.
Para may ano tayo, para may pruweba. Cameras on.
Okay po, counting in 10 seconds.
Naka-on ba yung mga camera?
5 seconds, kindly open your camera. All right, so we have around 79 people here. Okay, still waiting for others? No more? Okay po?
Okay.
Sige po, standby po. In 5, 4. Okay, may mahabol pa po? Ayan, labas lang natin yung chat. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. 5:30 na.
Thank you.
Oo nga.
Holidays have always been a click away. But why stop there? Today, you can do so much more. You can go further. You can be more. More stylish. More adventurous. More daring. More crafty. More fancy. Just do you. You can eat more. Get fresh food straight from the source. Or try something new. Click to pay and boom, delivered straight to your home. You can spend more and gain way more. No matter who you are or where you are, there's so much more to experience with AirAsia.com, the ASEAN super app.
Just woke up from the time of my life. It started with a major throwback. Then I got to meet the big shots. I found a sweet spot between cultures and hung out with the artsy crowd. I even picked up a few things along the way. After that, things kicked into overdrive. It started with a whirlwind through the streets. An unforgettable eats. A celebration of flavor in every bite. And an epic new party at every turn. The best thing about it here, the good times are never over.
I woke up inside an artist's dream. Where the paintings dance with every brushstroke. And works of art span from floor to ceiling. I witness masters at their craft who transform even the ordinary into exceptional. Confections came in more colors than I could imagine. And a creative escape waited around every corner.
Today, I woke up in a historic playground where fun dates back to the 16th century. Things are pretty old school here. Really old school. We get our thrills in a giant sandbox and spend all day playing in the water, where adventures come by the hundreds. This is a place where time stands absolutely still. But we can never seem to. Today, I woke up at the edge of the world, where time can't reach. Tiny houses stand untouched by the present. Rolling hills drop off to whom knows. Customs are a little different here. Even the fashion is extraordinary. Every corner stands another wonder. Our own little world away from it all.
I woke up to my own adventure book, having no idea what was up next. Each page was different. Every chapter, a new surprise. All I could do was go along for the ride. Trust my gut and let the story unfold. Because here, the best travel plan is to make no plans and just let life happen.
I woke up while nature was sound asleep, so I could marvel at its kingdom. I strolled through its lush gardens and saw every little wonder up close. Here, you can dance with giants, discover a feast for the eyes, and a feast for the appetite. Walls that hold heroes' stories told me of their bravery, while sacred places blessed my journey. I roamed places that stood the test of time, and others that were there since the beginning.
Once I woke up in a hidden place. Paradise unlike anything I had ever seen. And not the kind from fantasy. The one you could really sink your toes into. I walked beaches few had ever walked before, while the waves whispered their secrets. This place was my buried treasure. And even though I couldn't stay forever, the story of the islands never leaves me.
I just woke up in a non-stop action scene, where we're always at the edge of our seats, defying gravity one moment to communing with giants and getting lost in the lights the next. After feeling the heat, and I mean really feeling the heat, we finally regained our balance. And found our epic finale.
Clearer seas, brighter skies, and new travel experiences. We know you've missed this. So to help you imagine and create new getaways in our wondrous islands, we give you Travel Philippines, your official guide to safe and fun travel in the Philippines. Get official travel advisories and safety guidelines for a worry-free trip to the most travel-worthy destinations in the country. And rediscover a whole new Philippines featuring the best things to do, dishes to eat, and places to stay for a safe and comfortable holiday. Log in to create a profile and simply tap to save activities, tips, and articles to help you plan your trip. Securely upload important travel documents for easy, contact-free access. There's a whole new Philippines waiting to be discovered, and a whole new way to plan your safe, fun, and memorable getaway. Travel Philippines, your guide to safe and fun Philippine travel. Try it today. Visit app.philippines.travel. See you around the Philippines.